Welcome back to Baltimore. Don Criqui with Steve Beuerlein. Chan Gailey, first-year coach of the Bills. He knows that his counterpart John Harbaugh's teams with the Ravens are 13-1 against teams with losing records.
That's pretty impressive. 13-1. That's you want to be on the good side of that one.
The Bills won the toss, and they're going to put their defense out first. They've elected to defer, and they'll kick off with Brian Lindell ready to hit it.
And that's interesting. You don't see that very often.
Not in the NFL.
Not in the NFL at all.
There's Josh Wilson. Beautiful playing conditions. Temperature in the mid-60s, clear and sunny in Maryland. The Bills and the Ravens. The Bills coming in 0-5. They had a bye week. They're coming off it. They had players-only meetings. Did a lot of self-scouting.
And if there is such a thing as a good time for a bye, it definitely was for Buffalo, just to get their a chance to regroup and try and make something out of the season.
We're underway. Josh Wilson from the 5. Out to the 24-yard line. And here comes the Ravens offense with quarterback Joe Flacco.
Well, what can you say about this guy? Third year in the league. I really like Joe Flacco. You know, he's getting a little bit of flack, not to play off of words, but from the Baltimore people about his consistency, the media here. But he's the guy that I think can really do it all. Forget the numbers, forget anything else other than wins and losses. He shows up ready to play more times than not, and he can make all the plays.
Last time we saw him here against Cleveland, he looked like Johnny Unitas in his prime. Flacco had a fantastic game. Now, Flacco pitching on first down. Overshoots. Good coverage by the Bills. As we look at the offensive line of the Baltimore Ravens, it's a good one. Right tackle, Marshall Yanda has been moved there from guard because of injuries. He's been a real solid guy. Matt Burke, another Harvard player, 6 times Pro Bowler. He's the anchor at center. Ray Rice is the guy to watch today when they run the ball. He can also catch it. For his career, he's averaging 4.7 yards a carry. Flacco airing it out again. Here comes the rush. Flacco running out of time. And the Bills cover well. We got word the Bills are going to really load up against the run today, and there's going to be a lot of single coverage. Strength of their team on defense is their secondary. Look at the Bills now. Steve Beuerlein on defense. Kyle Williams was questionable during the week. Nose tackle, very important guy. We watched him work out before the game. With the ankle, he's ready to go. All Posluszny, he was the all-time leading tackler in Penn State football history. Inside backer. Dante Whitner, the number 8 pick in the entire draft when he came out of Ohio State. He's a key run stopper. Here's Flacco. Checking down. Gets the ball to his receiver, and the Bills shut it down, and the Ravens will have to punt. They got it to Anquan Bolden. 7-yard gain.
And how about that, Don? You know, you look at all the numbers and you look at the style of play of this Buffalo team versus the Baltimore team. You think Baltimore's going to come out and run right at them, try and establish their dominance. But what does Baltimore do? They come out and throw 3 straight incompletions, and now they're putting. A good start for Buffalo.
Roscoe Parrish is back for the Bills to return the punt. Cook hits it downfield. Directional punt near side. Big Ravens hop. Well done by Cook, who is really expert at downing the ball inside the 20. 51-yard punt and no return. All net yards. So the Bills go on offense the first time. And Ryan Fitzpatrick's at quarterback. 99.9 passer rating, coming off a terrific game, albeit a loss against Jacksonville. 20 of 30, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
And what he's also brought to this team, though, Don, is his confidence, presence. This is a Buffalo organization that's been through a lot. Ryan Fitzpatrick brings stability and confidence. And Chan Gailey likes the fact that he's a little bit of a gunslinger back there. He's not afraid to try and squeeze that ball into tight places and make some plays.
And he will run it and take on tacklers. Bills want to establish a run. Knock this Raven defense back a little, and they go to the run on the first down. And not a lot happening for Fred Jackson, who's averaging 5 yards a carry this season. Bills rushing average for the season, Steve, really good, 4.8, but they don't get to run it that much because they've been behind. If you look at their offensive line, they have a rookie, Howard, starting at right tackle. First-year player from Georgia Tech, free agent. You look at their receivers. Lee Evans has caught 355 passes, 40 touchdowns for the Bills. They need to hit him deep. He's been quiet much of this season.
And there you see Cordero Howard. Boy, what a game to make your first start against the Baltimore Ravens. Undrafted rookie free agent.
Now they run. Jackson turns the corner. Good downfield blocking by the receiver, Steve Johnson. And the Bills get a 10-yard run. Look at the defensive line. Kelly Gregg, as Coach John Harbaugh says, you can't scheme against him. He's that good. He'll beat any blockers you have, any alignment. Suggs told us on Friday, I don't like quarterbacks. And he's in the business of getting after him.
And he was looking right at me when he said that, too. He got a little uneasy sitting in there hearing that.
Jackson. Strong run defense on that play by the Ravens.
I think Buffalo's doing what they have to do, though, to this point. They came out, played very physical run defense to start it off. Baltimore couldn't take advantage of it. And then now on offense, they have the ball. They've got to show they're not going to back down from Baltimore. They're going to run right at them, get physical. The best way to run against a good defense is to run right at them. Don't run side to side. Take it right at them. Show them you can stand up to them.
Well, let's see what they go to on 2nd and 9. Fitzpatrick's not thrown the ball yet. Pointing out a possible blitzer. There you are, Steve, right at him. But the Ravens are all over it as Jackson is shut down. Lead tackler, Daniel Ellerbe.
Don, one of the main problems for Buffalo has been third down conversions, and specifically 3rd and long. Look at that number right there. 2 of 32 when you've got 3rd and 8 or more. Over 50% if they can keep it within 7 yards. And Chan Gailey said that has got to be the priority. Right now they're faced with a 3rd and 8. We'll see how they fare coming off the bye week.
Fitzpatrick in the shotgun. Ravens can bring heavy heat with that front 4. Fitzpatrick looks, fires an out pattern, nicely timed. Ball is free on the field, not free. Still alive, and who gets it? But the toughest guy out there, the quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick, but the Bills will have to punt the ball from deep in their own end. That's the story of the Bills season. Moving the ball, looking sharp, and they get the ball slapped away.
And guess who that hit was made by? The new man on the field. Not new, and the Baltimore Ravens fans just saw the replay. It was Ed Reed that stuck his head in there and knocked that ball out. First series of the game, he's already making his presence felt. Almost gave his team the ball deep in Buffalo territory.
Loss of 17 there, Steve. So the Bills, Ravens could get good field position here. Brian Moorman back to punt. He's been a Pro Bowl punter. Last season set a Bills record with almost 47 yards of punt average. This year, 44 plus. Kicks a high ball. Ladarius Webb is back. Booming punt. And he's got whip in that leg. Webb, free catching at the 31. Well done by Moorman. So the Ravens go on offense for a 2nd time here at Baltimore. Back to Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. Both teams stopped on their opening possessions. Ravens ready to go now from their 32.
You saw the play selection. No runs yet for Baltimore.
Ball start. 1st and 15 for the Ravens.
Ball start. Number 66 offense. 5-yard penalty remains, 1st down.
And you don't think having your playmaker back makes a difference? Look at this Ed Reed. First series back after a long layoff from the hip surgery. Pops that ball out of there, and as you said, Don, tough quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick saved a catastrophe from happening, but big play already from Ed Reed.
John Harbaugh says he sees things other guys don't see, then he gets there fast. He did that. Here's Flacco, downfield throw. Nicely connected out to the 40-yard line to Anquan Boldin. First year as a Raven, 3 times a Pro Bowler with the Arizona Cardinals. A 13-yard gain on the Ravens' first down.
What do you know? Another pass. Baltimore really trying to keep Buffalo off guard here.
Rice. That's his Elvis operandi, to bounce outside, and he breaks it for a 1st down. 13-yard gain.
Well, that's what we expect to see a little bit more of. Ray Rice straight ahead, nothing flashy, nothing too special as far as play design. Ray Rice, the ability to take it up into where it's supposed to go, and then the physical feel and instinct to feel that there's a soft spot on the outside. Trust your left tackle, Big Mike Lore, bounce it outside and make a big gain.
And his receiver, Derek Mason, hobbling off a very key component in the Ravens offense. Flacco, the throw on first down. They screen it. They're on McClain, the fullback, crashing down inside the 30. So the Ravens got a good pass play again on this possession, an 18-yard gain.
Oh, very nice play design by Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator. You see the good hard play action by Joe Flacco. They do a lot of big-time play shots up the field off that play action. Right there, they set up the screen. They did a great job. Matt Burke, the center.
Quick snap here, back to Ray Rice, and a big open field tackle there. Coming up to make the play was Dante Whitner. Ray Rice might have gone in on that play had Whitner not gotten him ankle high.
Yeah, Dante Whitner, a great tackle. What we're seeing right here, though, is almost a mini no-huddle offense by Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens. They're not huddling up. It's not a hurry-up offense, but they're just trying to establish some tempo and some rhythm and keep Buffalo with their same personnel on the field.
Now McGahee's in the game, the former Bills #1 draft choice, going in motion. Flacco gets time, airs it out, good coverage. Caught but out of bounds. Anquan Bolden, who's caught 33 this year, including one today, 4 for touchdowns.
What a great receiver Anquan Bolden is. You can't see, you might be able to see it, that little shove that all the great receivers know how to do at the top of the route to give yourself that little separation. Anquan Bolden did it right there. That entirely falls on Joe Flacco on that play, though. You've got to give your receiver a chance to make that play inbound.
Not even!
Anquan Bolden, he's a pro's pro every game. Watch him and see how the position should be played. Here's Flacco on third down. Another downfield throw. Overshoots the intended receiver. Bills feel if Flacco's pressured, he might throw it to him. He did have the one bad game this year when he was intercepted 4 times by the Bengals.
Well, he did, but you know what Joe Flacco has the ability to do, Don, and he did it when we covered the next week against the Cleveland Browns. He can bounce back. He's got a short memory. He'll get over these kind of bad days. Once in a while, he's going to have them and come out chucking the next time. Right there, tried to force the football up the field a little bit. Might have had Anquan Bolden underneath. He does have a tendency to get a little bit impatient.
Now Billy Cundiff to try a 41-yard field goal. Plenty of distance. And he opens the scoring. The Ravens take a 3-0 lead. When we come back to Baltimore, the Ravens will be kicking off. With Steve Bertline, this is Don Criqui back at Baltimore. Cundiff just hit a 41-yard field goal to open the scoring for the Ravens. Now he's ready to kick off. C.J. Spiller and Donald Jones are back. Spiller, the tremendous rookie from Clemson. This is Spiller. He can go fast. He's out to the 28-yard line. He was the 9th pick in the entire draft last April. Bill's ready to go when we come back. There were some fierce hits delivered last week in the NFL. Ravens tight end Todd Heap hit by New England's Brandon Merriweather. Pittsburgh's James Harrison, the hits on Massaquoi and Cribbs of Cleveland. And on Dante Robinson of the Falcons, a big hit on Deshaun Jackson. And there's Todd Heap, who took a couple of those shots.
He told us he's still feeling the effects of it. His neck and his upper body really still feeling the effects of that. Big hits, much more prevalent last week than normal, and NFL rightly addressing those issues.
Here on the reverse is Roscoe Parrish. Didn't get a lot of playing time last year, and when Chan Gailey came in, he said, "What is this? Why is this guy not on the field?"
Yeah,
6-yard gain there.
He is a playmaker. Chan Gailey wants to get the ball to him as much as possible. But going back to that point, though, on the helmet-to-helmet stuff, Don, Rodney Harrison, the former All-Pro safety, said it best. You know, $5,000 doesn't get anybody's attention these days. You got to hit them hard, and you got to put your hammer down. And the NFL has done that. In fact, we've got Ray Anderson, the Executive Vice President of Football Operations, here today with us. He's the one that's been right in the middle of all this from the NFL standpoint.
Jackson breaks it. Not done inside the 45, and then a penalty marker's fired in. Might be an illegal block on McIntyre. Play in total was 26 yards, but a lot of it's going to come back.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a fantastic run by the Buffalo Bills.
During the run, holding. Number 13 of the offense. 10-yard
Steve
penalty.
Johnson. Receiver
Result of the play will
downfield.
still be a first down.
Well, I'll tell you, the holding by Steve Johnson takes away a little bit. But look at that left side. You can see right there, the play came up perfect. Look at that hole, and you've got nothing but green grass in front of Fred Jackson. Does a great job breaking the tackle, and you're going to see the hole by Stevie Johnson right there. But, you know, you got to have that clock in your head that tells you when to let go on the outside. It's tough. Stevie Johnson putting forth the effort. Just got to be a little bit better decision making.
He got caught. Here is Fitzpatrick, out pattern. Well, there's NFL footballers best at timing pattern. Stop pattern. He comes back at the ball. So Johnson makes up for some of that. Steve gets a 12-yard gainer.
Good route by Stevie Johnson right there. He ran a double move, which most teams they'll run the fake stutter and go on the outside where the receiver fakes like he's running an out and then goes deep. Right there, he faked out, went deep, and then ran back again on the out to keep comeback. Double move, got the corner out there. Chris Carr running to the end zone. Big play for Buffalo to get the first down.
Jackson, as said yesterday, he's thrilled to play in the NFL every time he's on the field. Loves the game, and he's starting to really come on. Good defense by the Ravens. Roscoe Parrish gets a quick out, but Fabian Washington is right there to stop him. 31. A loss of 2 yards on the play.
Well, when you have a guy like Roscoe Parrish on the outside, Chan Gailey, as you said, now he could not believe that he hadn't seen more of this guy over the past few years, but you try and create ways to get it to him. Sometimes you outthink yourself. Right there, Fabian Washington was not fooled. I think maybe sometimes you get a little too caught up in trying to force things to happen when you got a play like Roscoe Parrish.
Second down and 12. Timing throw on target. Johnson again, and it's a first down for the Bills, who coming off their bye week look sharp on this drive. A 14-yard gain. You're talking about Roscoe Parrish, the hard hits. He used a line from The Godfather. Said, this is the business we chose.
It is the business they chose, and also I'll tell you, Fabian Washington right there, kind of embarrassed by Stevie Johnson. A little quick slant move made him look bad. He probably wishes he wasn't in the middle of it out there on that play.
I know, Steve, studying film, you've been very impressed with Johnson.
I really have. The kid just has a way of making plays, stepping up.
Long ball, receivers there. Lee Mays, touchdown Bills. That as nice as you can do it.
That is Lee Evans, and I'll tell you, when you're guarding Lee Evans, there's absolutely no excuse for this from Fabian Washington's standpoint. I think Buffalo has found something. They want to attack Fabian Washington. You saw 3 plays in a row trying to see if he can make a play. Right there, Lee Evans, known throughout the league as one of the best big play receivers in football. You don't let him get behind you. Fabian Washington was burned big time on that play.
Lee Evans from Wisconsin with the tremendous acceleration, just sped by the corner. Ryan Lindell with the extra point. And the underdog Bills go 72 yards in 6 plays. Fitzpatrick 4 of 4 throwing on that drive. And they take a 7-3 lead. The Bills just made it happen fast. Their quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 5 of 5 throwing in the game for 41 yards. He lost 17 yards in pass offense when the completion was run down the field, then knocked away backwards 17 yards from the receiver. But he's been the difference, and it's a 7-3 game. Here come the Ravens. Josh Wilson. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Bills think they have the ball. Let's see what officials rule that they do have the ball. Aiken Adele was jumping at it. Ravens are sending out their defense.
They are. There is a flag down as well, though.
Usually an offensive.
During the return, holding number 52 of the receiving team. The penalty would be declined. Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Buffalo. First down.
Pete Morelli, a referee.
Let's look and see exactly what happened here. You know, that ball, the knee was not down. The ball definitely was on the ground, but remember, that player can get back up and run the ball. Josh Wilson was trying to extend the play, and that ball got popped out of there. John Harbaugh trying to decide. He might want to throw that red flag, but he was not down. Yep.
Aiken Adele's the guy knocked it out of there. So while Harbaugh challenges, there's a break in the action. See where the Bills end up.
Baltimore is challenging the ruling on.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Was there a knee down before the ball was knocked free on the Ravens kickoff return? That's what's being reviewed.
Well, you can see right here, Don, the ball is out of the hand, and the knee was definitely not down before that ball was popping out. So it's got to be conclusive to overturn it. I think it's pretty conclusive that that ball was coming loose before Josh Wilson's knee hit the ground. And you got a great shot. We had Marinelli right there, had a great view of the whole thing, and looks to me like he was pretty correct on that call.
Yeah, there has to be irrefutable evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was fumble and recovery by the Bills. Josh Wilson disconsolate.
Yeah, he's hoping upon hope right there. Let's look at it one more angle. This one, you can see when the knee hits, there's no doubt that the knee does hit, but the ball pops out right there. It was coming loose. You can see the knee now is just hitting the ground. The ball was definitely coming loose. So I don't think there's really much to talk about here, Don.
So it all depends on what they review, what they find. If the play goes as called on the field, the Bills would have it 1st and 10 at the Ravens' 15-yard line.
Yeah, and the real discussion would be if it were not ruled a fumble, would it be conclusive enough to overturn it the other way? I think the fact that it was ruled a fumble, there is no clear evidence that it was not a fumble.
Here's the verdict.
We'll see what Ron Morelli says.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Baltimore will be charged a timeout and a challenge on the play.
So the play stands, and the Bills up 7-3, have the ball to the 15-yard line. Bills have started games like this before. They're going to blow out Jacksonville in their last game 2 weeks ago.
Almost identical to what's happening here. They got the short field after a couple of early turnovers, got up to a 10-0 lead, but could not sustain the lead.
Fitzpatrick, quick drop. And what a collision, but his fullback busts 2 tackles. McIntyre, a big back from West Virginia, drives the ball down for a 9-yard gain down to the 6-yard line.
What a great individual effort by Corey McIntyre. That play was sniffed out very, very well by Ladarius Webb. You're going to see the corner coming up on the outside. And actually, that was DeJuan Landry, the safety. Ladarius Webb's the one that made the final tackle, but DeJuan Landry was in perfect position to make that play. That's the play the Baltimore Ravens normally do make. Corey McIntyre made him pay for the missed tackle.
He really did. A 2nd down and less than a yard for a 1st down. 2nd and 6 for a touchdown. Jackson gets to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bills.
This is a nice matchup down in the red zone, Don. Buffalo has been pretty darn good in the red zone. Baltimore, one of the very best, in fact, the 3rd best in the NFL in the red zone defense. But Chan Gailey, coach for Buffalo, what he said was, you know, we're pretty good in the red zone. We just don't get there enough. We got to find a way to get down there.
It's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be, and it's all a lot easier to get there when you recover a fumble in the red zone.
Steve, you played quarterback in the NFL 17 years. We're a Pro Bowl player. How about the play calls down here when the defense has so much less field to defend?
Well, things happen so much quicker. We see Pete Morelli telling us just short of the 1st down, but
Please set the play clock to 24 seconds.
things happen so much more quickly in the red zone. You've got to have receivers that know how to use the space. And
to 24 seconds.
If I'm Baltimore, I'm watching out for Stevie Johnson right here.
Thank
Ryan
you.
Fitzpatrick said he's the best he's ever been around as far as creating space in the red zone. Here he is right here. That's Roscoe Parrish. But Steve Johnson not even in there right now.
Head down. The 225-pound Fitzpatrick takes it himself for the first down. First spot, they had him as a first down in the previous play. The spot of the ball, though, was back at the 5-yard line, but now the Bills have it first and goal. And the Ravens' stout defense is really challenged here. They've got some tremendous people up front, and Kelly Gregg, Lodi Nagata, who still thought he was going to be drafted by the Bills.
And probably at this point pretty happy he wasn't. But right now, you saw a good job on the quarterback sneak by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Stevie Johnson is in there now. He's in the slot right here. They've got a great chemistry going down in the red zone.
Timing throw, fade padding. Second and goal. Landry covering well.
And that was the big second-year tight end out of Southern Miss, Sean Nelson, on the outside. 6'5", 240. Tried to get that matchup on DeJuan Landry. Played well by DeJuan Landry.
Nelson's coming off a 4-game suspension. He's been out for almost 2 months. He had a groin injury, then the suspension. That's the first pass that Ryan Fitzpatrick has missed.
And here's the matchup. Steve Johnson in motion.
Jackson. Big hit by the Ravens. Looked like he had a gap, then he's knocked back. Third and goal.
Well, Don, you know, one of the things that makes this Ravens defense what they are, what they have been, led by Ray Lewis. Every time they step foot on the football field, Ray Lewis says they will not score.
Yep.
They will not score. Don't matter about the situation. Does not matter. We've got, I believe, is that Kelly Gregg down on the field right now?
Get that number spotted. It is, yeah, that's Kelly Gregg, their nose tackle, one of their most important players.
Now we're going to see what happened to Kelly Gregg. You see him right there in the circle. Terrell Suggs comes in late in the play. Watch his knee hit Kelly Gregg right in that quad. Boy, that hurt. That's two big men colliding right there. And Kelly Gregg, he got up and walked off. I would imagine he'll be back in there pretty quickly, but that has to hurt.
Knowing that Kelly Gregg, though, he'll be back in there contributing as soon as he can. And here's a third down. Fitzpatrick running out of time, fires to the end zone, tipped and knocked away. Good defense by the Ravens, denies a touchdown, and the Bills will have to come out with the field goal unit.
You know, you'd like to think you have a good play call in this situation, but you got two young receivers. Look at that, Roscoe Parrish and Stevie Johnson right there together. Somebody busted on that play. Ryan Fitzpatrick is lucky that that play wasn't going the other way. Josh Wilson had a chance to make up for the fumble. Did not pick that ball up. Should have had it, really. Was in perfect position, and it was a bust by Buffalo.
Here's Lindell. Career, he's almost 99% on field goal attempts inside the 40. This is a 21-yarder. So the Bills get points off the Raven turnover.
But Chan Gailey's not going to be happy with those points, Don. You know, he doesn't want a field goal in that situation. You get the ball deep down there against a good football team, you got to cash in.
But he's a lot happier than if he had no points.
No doubt about it. I just remember looking at the tape last week of the Jacksonville game when they came off in a very similar situation, settled for a field goal after they got a deep turnover against Jacksonville. Chan Gailey was not happy. I talked to him about it yesterday, and he said, would you be happy?
Tuesday, she had a beautiful mind, but it's her body language that will solve this case. Don't miss TV's #1 drama, NCIS, Tuesday only CBS. But Josh Wilson's going back again, looking to make amends. Now they're next, they're putting Jalen Parmalee back there. Change and return guys. Well, Parmalee's been the main guy most of the season.
Well, and John Harbaugh is a special teams coach by trade. That is where his vast experience in the NFL has been, and he is, generally speaking, going to make the right decision. He feels more comfortable with Parmalee back there. That's what he's going to do. He gave Josh Wilson the opportunity. Hey, he probably still has confidence in Josh Wilson, but he does not want to take any more chances. This game, how surprising is it already? You know, Buffalo up 10-3. He doesn't want to take any chances on it getting any worse.
Wendell. It's a high spinner. Gary's about 5 yards deep, and the Ravens down the ball. Amelie won't bring it out. Takes the touchback for a 1st and 10 at the 20. The new NFL.com mobile apps have arrived. No matter where you are, you can track scores, set fantasy lineups, and get highlights of your team's big plays. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. Joe Flacco came out pitching when the game plan would seem to be, let's run it against the last-ranked run defense.
I would expect them to get very physical in this drive, try and reestablish control.
McGahee, the former Bill, turns the corner, gets good yards. Down across the 30, there is a penalty marker down. 14-yard gain if it goes, but the Bills say it's against the Ravens.
Illegal formation. Offense number 85 was covering up the tight end. 5-yard penalty remains. 1st down.
So it's a pre-snap foul. There was no play.
That's Derek Mason. It was an illegal formation. They let the play run, but the flag went up right away. It was definitely before the play, but Derek Mason, he's lined up on the ball right there. See, you got the tight end to the side there. That means both of your receivers have to be off the ball. Derek Mason covered up the tight end. That's a 5-yard penalty before the play even starts.
Flacco to the run. And a terrific run it is by McGahee as against his old mates, the Bills. He rips off a big gainer all the way out to the 42-yard line. A 25-yard run by Willis McGahee.
And you know what, Don? That play worked. The exact same play worked to the left side. Prior to that, Derek Mason did not back off the line. This time, he does back off the line. They run at the same play to the right side. It worked even better to the right side, bouncing outside. Willis McGahee happened to be involved in the game after not even getting a carry last week against New England.
He was with the Bills 4 years. Their #1 pick in 03, McGahee. Here's a throw and a catch. Get it down and check down underneath to Ed Dixon, who they think is going to be a terrific tight end. He's a rookie from Oregon. Got 5 on that. He made a play in their passing practice on Friday that was unbelievable. A diving catch that you have to see to believe. So they think he's going to do that a lot, make big plays. And with Heap a little banged up, although he's on the field, you could see more of Dixon getting the ball. We got another good rookie tight end, and Dennis Pitta. Ray Rice, he finds a gap. And now the Raven blocking starts to unlock this Bills run defense. A 6-yard gain, and it appears to be a 1st down.
And one of the things that makes Cam Cameron as an offensive coordinator so good and so hard to defend against is what we're seeing right now. We're seeing him using formations and motions and shifting to try and get the look he wants, and he's found something that works right now against Buffalo.
Ray Rice. And he is stopped on a short gain. It'll be a 2nd and about 9.
That is the end of the 1st quarter.
Bills in the lead. Will return to Baltimore after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back and ready to go now as the Ravens on 2nd down and 9 to open the 2nd quarter. Flacco play fakes and looking deep, running out of time. He runs well, and he does the right thing and throws the ball.
No foul for intentional grounding. Quarterback's out of the pocket.
And a Bill is down. Marcus Stroud is on the field, getting up slowly.
Well, Joe Flacco today, came out throwing. That was the first play of the game. A little over the top and right there. A little aggressive trying to get the ball off the field. In this one, we had a nice completion to Anquan Boldin, except it was out of bounds. So, on the deeper balls, Joe Flacco hasn't done very well yet today. He's tried to force a couple of them up there. Underneath, 4 of 6. That last one was a throwaway. He was 4 of 5 prior to that. But He needs to stay within himself and play smart. He hasn't gotten in any trouble yet, but know when to take your shots and know when to check it down. He's been doing very well, in my opinion, most of the year with that kind of stuff.
Not doing well coming out of the field was Marcus Stroud, a very important player. Needed a couple guys to help him. Here is a throw by Flacco, and the Bills separate the receiver from the ball. Posluszny with a real rip.
Yeah, Paul Posluszny played it very well. He had no doubt where the ball was going. It was almost like he knew T.J. Houshmandzadeh was coming over the middle. Good coverage all the way around by Buffalo. Todd Heap was trying to control the underneath coverage. He was taken away as well. Joe Flacco really know where to go with that football.
And the Ravens, Steve, now 0 for 3 on third down conversions. Sam Cook steps in, end over end kick. Fielded surely, not easy to do by Roscoe Parrish. Bills with a 10-3 lead go back on offense. When we come back to Baltimore. Back and ready to go. Bills deep in their own end after getting the punt. And the 8-yard line seemed to be an overmatch here, Steve. The Ravens number 3 in the NFL on defense. Bills 30th on offense, but the Bills getting plays. And look at this one as C.J. Spiller. Those are the kind of moves and production that got him drafted number 9 in the first round last April by the Bills. 12-yard gain.
Yeah, that's how you get yourself to be the number 9 draft choice. Look at the explosiveness and the instinct of running that he has. The ability to cut, plant, hurdle, get inside, outside. He just looks natural running with that football. You know, one of the areas that he's got to get better and why he isn't out there more is because he's kind of a liability in pass protection. You got 2 pretty good running backs. When he gets to where he's comfortable, Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller are going to be a nice combo.
And that pass pro is so important. Oh, now they go back to Spiller. All the good ones has the change of direction speed. Now let's go to JB in New York. See what's the scoreboard changing there.
Yes, indeed, Don and Steve. Take a look off of a Miami fumble. Ben Roethlisberger makes him pay. Look at Hines Ward. Tough second and third effort. I think he's pretty good. That was a 21-yard score. 10-6, Pittsburgh on top of Miami. Don and Steve.
All right, James. Yeah, that's pretty good.
He is pretty good.
Every time he plays. The Steelers consider him. You talk to Bill Cowher, one of the most important players they've had. Fred Jackson, they got that power trap running here and get it across the 35-yard line, a 7-yard gain.
Yeah, and this is truly a complete difference in style, which is why I think long term this is going to be a great fit for Buffalo. Fred Jackson, more of the straight ahead off tackle. He's got big playability, but his style is to come slashing right at you, whereas C.J. Spiller, he's the shake and bake guy that can get it outside and kill you.
Right now they have Jackson in the backfield, but Spiller getting more use today. Fitzpatrick fires a fastball, and it's tipped away. Chris Carr, who John Harbaugh told us Friday might be the most underrated player. Number 25 on the Ravens team. He said he is consistently good. Corner.
We're going to see. You're right, Don. Stevie Johnson was the intended receiver there, but Chris Carr did a great job of kind of baiting Ryan Fitzpatrick into that throw. It was a 2-deep coverage where Chris Carr had nothing underneath him, but he was trying to entice Ryan Fitzpatrick to throw that football, and he almost made a play on it.
Ryan Fitzpatrick started 6 for 6 throwing the ball. He's 0 for 3 since. 2nd and 10. Spiller, really good open field tackling by the Ravens. Jameel McClain, undrafted free agent, has been a big contributor. He makes the stop, and now a 3rd and 11. This is a loss of a yard.
You're right, Don. That was a heck of a play by Jameel McClain, going up and over the blocker that was coming to cut him. And right here again we see the dilemma that Chan Gailey finds himself in. These 3rd and longs coming into this game, 2 of 32 when it's over 8 yards. Hard to be successful against especially a really good Baltimore defense.
And that is a really good Baltimore defense.
And this is when they're most dangerous.
They come with 5. Here's a downfield throw. Are they going to give him the catch?
What a play. Looks like it.
What a play by Roscoe Parrish.
And if I'm Chan Gailey, I want to get up and get a play run really quickly, because I don't know whether he got his feet down on this play, but what a heck of a catch. He did. Boy, he got that right foot down. What a catch by Roscoe Parrish. And that's the other thing that Chan Gailey said. You see this guy, he's so little, but he goes up and makes plays. He's fearless. He's tough. He'll go get that football.
Well, he got it 14 yards downfield with that spectacular catch on a 3rd and 11 play, and the Bills, with a surprising leader, have a first down at midfield.
Buffalo
Timeout,
taking a
Buffalo.
timeout.
First, team timeout.
Timeout Buffalo. 11:39 to go in the half, and Gailey getting some production today. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join James Brown and company for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Some interesting offensive numbers here, Steve Berline, favoring Buffalo at this point.
Well, you know, Buffalo has been in complete control so far. Look at all those relevant stats right there: plays, yards, and time of possession. That's got to be very concerning to John Harbaugh. That's Jim Zorn right there talking with Joe Flacco.
Spiller turns the corner, gets a little bit. He is not yet a tackle breaker in this league. He can't make people miss, though.
But you know what? He is slippery, Don, and you're going to see right here. You know, he's got such great balance and such great flexibility. He can bounce off of people and really not lose any of his speed or get slowed down at all by it. He's not going to run over you. He's not going to break a lot of tackles per se, but he can make a lot of people miss.
You talked to Steve about the pass protection, which is something he's not yet learned at this level, and it's vital. Second down, a long 8. Fitzpatrick throws, makes a connection. The tight end Sean Nelson on his first catch since coming back is down to the Ravens' 36-yard line, a 12-yard gain.
Oh, nice throw and catch on that play, Ryan Fitzpatrick. What I like about this guy is watch how quickly he makes his decision. He sets, and that ball is out on time, on the money. And that's the kind of thing that gets coaches excited. When you see a quarterback that knows where he wants to go with the football, call it his Harvard education, whatever you want to call it, it was the right decision on time, on the money.
Well, he's been very accurate. Here's a live ball, and it's incomplete, and the Bills are fortunate there as the Ravens get a hand on it. Lee Evans, who caught the touchdown pass, was the target on a slant.
Very fortunate here. Watch how Ryan Fitzpatrick looking to his right. He predetermined. Boy, that hit Corey Redding right in the helmet. Look at this. Boom, right off his head. But Ryan Fitzpatrick very lucky something bad didn't happen on that play.
Bills a surprising leader at Baltimore with second down and 10 coming up. Spiller putting on moves, getting some, not a lot, into the middle of the Ravens defense. Got about 3 or 4, and the Bills sent in a new offensive package.
Well, when you get second and long, a lot of teams are going to play 2 deep coverage where you just got 7 men in the box. Offenses want to try and run in that situation to get it to a desirable location, but you run straight ahead at that defense. C.J. Spiller, that's not his strength. You'd like to see Fred Jackson in there running that kind of a play between the tackles.
Fred Jackson's on the field now. He can catch the ball. Long ball, receivers there. Touchdown Bills, and another perfectly executed deep ball. That's Steve Johnson on the payoff end. 33 yards, as was the first touchdown throw to Lee Evans.
I'll tell you what, that was a great decision. Ryan Fitzpatrick saw exactly what I saw from up here in the box. One-on-one coverage on Ladarius Webb. They had the right route called. You hope that you've got that fade route called against that bump coverage with a good receiver in Stevie Johnson. Boy, it came up perfectly again for Buffalo.
Extra point is good. Johnson, 5 touchdown catches already this season for the Bills. The Ravens fans weren't ready for this, but we've got a long way to go, and they can score when they get it going. Bills kick off next. The Bills just went 91 yards in 11 plays. Touchdown throw. Fitzpatrick to Stevie Johnson. And they only faced 1 third down in that whole drive.
They did. I'll tell you, that's one way to keep it going. Ryan Fitzpatrick, his 30th career touchdown pass. Stevie Johnson, his 5th touchdown in the last 4 games. Unbelievable.
Ball bobbled and picked up. Parmalee. A hard hit on the sideline. Let's watch that touchdown play. This is Berline-like.
Well, here's the matchup down there at the bottom. But look, I want you to watch right here. Safety DeJuan Landry. He's got the one-on-one matchup on the outside. Ryan Fitzpatrick has exactly what he wants. Stevie Johnson makes the release, and the safety is so far in the middle of the field, he can't get over there to make the play. Ryan Fitzpatrick had a quarterback's dream. Bump coverage on the outside, a fade route call with the free safety way in the middle of the field.
And not to be overlooked, he threw a perfect pass. Here is Ray Rice, who can take it the distance, given the gap. Thurman Thomas, the great Bills runner, a Hall of Fame running back during his career. He analyzed Ray Rice during the week and said what really makes him good is something a lot of backs don't have, and that's patience. He'll wait for the blockers to form and make their commitment.
And he's got the burst to go along with it when he sees what he wants to see. And if I'm John Harbaugh, this is exactly what I do. I got to get control of this football game. Let's go right at him, make them stop the run down.
Flacco goes to an outlet, man. He's not close. Ray Rice was over there, and
I just don't get it. I don't get what Baltimore is thinking at this point right now. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Cam Cameron as an offensive coordinator and John Harbaugh for their style of play. You're losing this football game, 17-3. And you're trying to beat them throwing the football, which is not really what you're built to do. You're built to go after people, attack physical with the running game, and then make some plays up the field.
Flacco just 4 of 11 for 45 yards. That's 36% completions. He goes long. He's got a receiver. And a penalty marker against the Bills. So the Ravens will get the big play on penalty yardage. Drayton Florence connected with a receiver before the ball got there.
No, and if you know you can bank on a pass interference like that, that's a great call. Drayton Florence, no doubt guilty.
Pass interference. Number 29 to the defense. Automatic first down.
And Joe Flacco, again, I'm a big fan of him as a young quarterback. T.J. Houshmandzadeh was open on that play. He was behind Drayton Florence. That ball was underthrown. Fortunately, T.J. Houshmandzadeh timed it well, went up after it. Drayton Florence did not make a play on the football and ran into T.J. Houshmandzadeh. That's why the penalty was called.
And the Ravens advance 40 yards on the pass interference penalty. First down. Ray Rice taken down by Posluszny, very quick at an inside linebacker position. Posluszny, second-round draft choice, the all-time leading tackler in Penn State history. How good is that?
There have been a few linebackers come out of Penn State. And you can go down the list of those guys. I had to deal with them every year when I was at Notre Dame. They were tough.
Last time the Bills coach, what's his strengths? He said, number one, he's very smart. Here is Flacco, receiver. What a play by the Ravens. Todd Heap. As close to a perfect play as you'll find. 26 yards.
Well, I'll tell you what, Don. We'll get a chance to look at it, but Jairus Byrd, the free safety, you see him on the right-hand top of your screen. Look at him. He's in position to make this play. He goes for the football. And I'll tell you what, when you're going for the football with a guy who's about a foot taller than you and about 50 pounds heavier than you, you're going to lose most of the time. You got to go there and decide when to make the hit, when to make the play on the ball. I think that time Jairus Byrd should have tried to separate Todd Heap from the football.
Terrific throw and catch. Cundiff with the extra point, and the Ravens are right back in it. Here it is, 26 yards to a tremendous tight end, Todd Heap. Ravens kick off when we come back. With Steve Verlon, this is Don Criqui back at Baltimore, where the Ravens just hit a beautiful touchdown throw. Flacco to Todd Heap, and they now trail the Bills 17-10. Flacco's slow starting, but he was hot on that drive.
Well, and aided by the 40-yard pass interference as well, Don, on the outside.
And what you pointed out was actually an underthrown ball. Set up the PI. Here is a Spiller from the goal line. Special teams play couldn't be better. He'll be taken down at about the 23-yard line. Tomorrow on CBS, how do you solve a murder when an old flame becomes the prime suspect? See why Hawaii Five-0 is TV's #1 new show. Tomorrow, only CBS.
Well, Don, in most cases with this Baltimore Ravens defense, a play like that, a drive like that by their offense should spark this defense to step up and play a little bit better. Buffalo has been making them look pretty average so far today. We'll see if the Baltimore defense can respond.
Fitzpatrick also throwing well. Handoff, finding a way to get some yards is Fred Jackson. Chris Carr was the lead tackler. As you look at the Bills now, their first 4 possessions today.
That doesn't happen too often against Baltimore. 3 scoring drives out of the first 4. And I'll tell you what, Don, right there, that little run by Fred Jackson, that is so key for this Buffalo defense against Baltimore. 5-yard gain, what looked like just a nothing running play. Freddie Jackson getting the most out of it, keeping his team in this desirable situation.
Getting 5 a carry. 9 carries, 44 yards. Comes in at a 5 per carry average. And here is a counter play with Jackson running. He's from Cole College. Was in a minor league football. The Bills very fond of people from Cole College because their Hall of Fame coach Marv Levy played at Cole College.
You made the comment, Don, in our meetings. There aren't many backfields that we can think of that had a quarterback from Harvard and a running back from Cole College.
Levy also has a degree from Harvard.
Levy's got the tie there then, huh?
Harvard's showing up big here today. 3rd down. 1st down. Roscoe Parrish.
Don, you look at it, that's a nice executed play there. 3rd and 1 makes it to where you can do whatever you really want to do. Ryan Fitzpatrick, though, he really is playing well today. Hits the big one here to Lee Evans. You got the big one to Stevie Johnson going the other way. He's been sharp. He's been on the money with all of his receivers. There's only been maybe 1 decision so far today that I haven't been 100% in agreement with what he's doing with the football.
Well, that 9-yard gain gives the Bills a 1st down. 6:05 to go in the first half. Jackson looking to turn the corner. Ravens won't allow it. Fabian Washington comes up to knock him out of bounds.
Well played by Fabian Washington, just kind of stretching that play. It was a counter designed to go wide, and Fabian Washington fought off the block on him and then patiently let Fred Jackson get to the outside and took his legs out.
A lot of speculation, as you know, Steve, with the Bills draft a quarterback if they draft high, and they asked Ryan Fitzpatrick how he feels about all that speculation. He said, I'm concerned about one thing, that's the Baltimore Ravens.
Smart way to look at it.
And they're concerned about him in this game, the way he's throwing the ball. There's another beautiful throw and catch. Look at this. Johnson on the run inside the 30. And he's out of bounds at the 20.
I'm telling you, Don.
Working magic.
I like this guy. Well, look at all that goes into it. Ryan Fitzpatrick did a complete 360 before he threw this ball to Stevie Johnson, a pickup of 43 yards. But I really like this kid. I mean, he's 6'3", about 202 pounds, so he's big enough to get physical, but he's showing a really, really good ability to run with the football after the catch. And also, as Ryan Fitzpatrick pointed out to us, he finds a way to create separation. He gets open.
He's really finding a way. Fitzpatrick again, another throw to the end zone. Touchdown, Bills. Lee Evans is second of the day.
Are you kidding me?
The 30th ranked offense? I don't think so. The Chargers would like to look this good. And they're #1 in the stats.
Did you see that look on John Harbaugh's face? It's almost like he's in shock. Nobody can move the football down the field like this against the Baltimore Ravens. Look at this throw by Ryan Fitzpatrick. He knew all along he was going left. And that was Fabian Washington again victimized. That's the second touchdown he's given up to Lee Evans today.
Yeah, Lee Evans, Steve, 2 catches, total of 53 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And the extra point is good. But yeah, Lee Evans. But you know, what also needs to be pointed out right there, Ryan Fitzpatrick, that was a perfect example of what Chan Gailey said. There aren't a lot of quarterbacks that'll have the guts to put that ball in there. He said Ryan Fitzpatrick is a gunslinger. He'll throw the ball in there and take a chance once in a while. A lot of quarterbacks don't have that guts, and as a result, you miss out on a lot of opportunities to make big plays.
Well, when you're 0-5, you've got to be a gunslinger and take chances. You're not going to go with a conservative offense and do anything, particularly a team like this.
You're right, but I don't think that goes into Ryan Fitzpatrick's mentality. He's going to play that way whether they're 5-0, 0-5. It's who he is. He's the kind of quarterback that says, you know what, I'm going with my reads. He's got the confidence in himself and his receivers to take those chances and make the right decision more times than not.
Fitzpatrick was drafted 7th round by the Rams out of Harvard. Ivy League Player of the Year. Spent some time with the Bengals. Hushmanzada, receiver now for the Ravens, was asked what he thought of Fitzpatrick when they were both with the Bengals. He said, we loved him as a quarterback.
Well, I can see why. I can see why. You know, when you talk to the players, you get a good feel, too, as the ball gets knocked over there. Ryan Lindell's going to re-tee it. But when you talk to his teammates, that's where you really get the feel for what he's all about. They say, you know what, he just gives us confidence. He steps in the huddle, and we know everything's all right. He just kind of lightens it up, knows what to say, knows how to project that right image. And that makes a big difference.
And he's also grades out high in the toughness category against the Jets. They were getting beaten badly. He was taking on defensive backs.
He doesn't duck away from it.
Here's Josh Wilson, a terrific open field tackle. As Wednesday on Showtime, JB, Chris Collinsworth, Phil Simms, and Warren Sapp come your way on cable's longest running show. The Mully Award-winning Inside the NFL every Wednesday on Showtime. Making that stop was Donald Jones, number 19 for the Bills.
Look at this quarterback comparison right here, Don. Joe Flacco not playing poorly at all, but look at the numbers for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, I think he'd have the edge of most any quarterback in the NFL today.
Long way to go, though, and Flacco can fire it like he does there. Oh, yeah. Hard hit on Anquan Bolden. Dante Whitner.
But, Don, I still think that Baltimore is kind of playing into Buffalo's hands right now. There's still 4.5 minutes in the first half. You get a good drive put together, you score a touchdown, you're down 7 going into half. That's fine. You got to stick with who you are. And Baltimore's rushed the ball 7 times today for 63 yards. 9 yards an average, 9 yards a play. You know, you got to go back to what it is you do best.
Well, they're looking to fire over the top again. Beautifully timed throw to Anquan Bolden, very close to an out-of-bounds hit. Braden Florence, who was victimized earlier for a score. It's a 12-yard gain for the Ravens.
Well, it's very obvious that Cam Cameron and this offense are committed to throwing the ball on 1st and 2nd down, and they're doing a pretty good job of it, no doubt about it.
Flacco, 7 of 14 for 95 yards and 1 touchdown. Looking over the top again. Out pattern, almost a pick, and that would have gone the other way for 6. Whitner had his hands on it.
And that is what I'm talking about. All right, if you go to the well too many times, this could be a touchdown for Buffalo, and then it's almost Katie bar the door. Game's over. If Dante Whitner catches that ball, he's going for a touchdown. You get kind of carried away with things sometimes. Baltimore is a run-oriented football team. You've got to start running the football a little bit.
Well, I heard you. And that good one it is. McGahee ripping through the Bills for a gain of about 14 yards. Whitner makes the stop.
I don't know much. But if you run the football and you're getting 9 yards a pop, that one right there got about, I think, about 12. But that kills a defense. And you don't give them the opportunity to make plays. Buffalo has created no turnovers this year because teams are running the football at them. You look at that 9.6 yards of rush, Baltimore. A team can't create turnovers if you don't throw the ball. They can't pick off the pass.
Flacco has it. He gets drilled as he releases the ball, but he makes the connection to Todd Heap, who's on the run. All the way down to the 25-yard line. Flacco standing in, and on a crossing route, he hits Heap for 18 yards.
A nice job of Joe Flacco. Look at Paul Posluszny right up the gut, untouched, drills Joe Flacco. That's one of the reasons why I like him so much, is he stands strong in that pocket and delivers the ball on the money. Todd Heap looking like a young spring chicken out there running with the football.
The Ravens now challenging again. Flacco, good fake, end zone throw. Banquan Boldin overshoots him.
The referee almost made the catch on that play. The back judge.
Show off his arm here too. He goes to the underhand style.
I mean, you're a back judge. You don't get many opportunities to make a play, but you got to make the play, man. Come on, you can't put that on you any better than that.
Well, they're part of the field.
That's Rob Vernacci. He's got to make that play.
Let's see if the Ravens can make the touchdown play. 2nd and 10. Flacco's looking end zone. Checks down. McGahee again. Beat Posluszny once, and then Posluszny ran him down, but it's a 12-yard gain, and the Ravens are right in the Bills' red zone.
Okay, Don, so if you're going to commit to throwing the football as much as you are, your quarterback's got to play smart. Right there, great job by Joe Flacco checking it down.
McGahee again. And again, it's Posluszny who stops in this game with these big plays, Steve, to turn it into a highlight reel. As we're checking down now to the 2-minute warning here at Baltimore. And who would have expected it? The Bills with 2 minutes to play.
That is the 2-minute warning.
The Ravens down by 14, challenging again. 2 minutes to go in the first half. McGahee. And he still gets plus yards. He's been a force. His power running has been more effective than Ray Rice. During the timeout, Ray Rice, and when he talks, the Ravens listen.
Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
He's getting there just as you would expect. He's embarrassed about what this defense is doing against the Buffalo Bills. An 0-5 team. Look at that intensity.
Now Ray Rice comes in the game, standing next to his quarterback, Joe Flacco. Rice in motion.
Todd Heap.
False start. Number 86 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
He doesn't do that very often. He must have known Joe Flacco was going to be thinking about throwing it to him. He's pretty excited. The big veteran tight end having a great year. Dante Whitner, the safety, said he looks like the best tight end in the league right now. That play right there didn't look too good.
Yeah, it's interesting today, Steve, the Bills defense has held the Ravens to 0 for 3 on 3rd down conversion tries. Flacco stands in. Here comes trouble. Flacco sacked. Loses the ball. Bills pick it up. That was a live ball.
I'll tell you what, that very well might be a fumble, Don. It looked like
Arthur Moats was in there for the Bills.
It looked like Joe Flacco
was a fumble.
Was trying to use the ball to brace his fall before his knee hit the ground. Just got to get rid of that football. That left knee might have been down. He might get a call there. It's going to be if there's any doubt, it will be challenged automatically.
Well, the challenge now comes from the booth.
The previous play.
Harbaugh can't call for it in the last 2 minutes of the half.
Exactly. Let's look at it. Joe Flacco doesn't seem too concerned. Look, watch his left knee. Right there, the knee is down. All right, so they're gonna rule that as no fumble, I believe, Don.
Big play, though, by the rookie from James Madison.
Yeah, and
Moats, and also in there, Dwan Edwards, the former Raven. He was 5 years a Baltimore Raven.
you know, the one thing we have to remember is that Joe Flacco is a young quarterback still in this league. And I think people here in Baltimore have been spoiled by how well he's played his first 2 years in the league. He still has a lot of learning to do. And right there was a great example. You're in easy field goal range. You try to make a play on third down at the end of the half. It's not there. Throw it away. Don't run around back there. You had really good protection. Nobody was open. Get rid of the football. Don't let something bad happen. Look, even if they do kick a field goal, it's now a 48-yard field goal.
Yeah, it was an 18-yard loss in that, Steve.
Look at that. Ray Lewis sitting there saying, we don't give up this many points in the first half. Well, he's right. It hadn't happened in over 2 years to a pretty good football team, Indianapolis. Buffalo Bills 0-5. That's not what Ray Lewis is looking for today.
Well, Ray Lewis sounded the warning. He said, we're coming off, a loss, a disappointing loss at New England. And we've got the Bills and then a bye week. He stated for the world to hear, it's going to be tough on Buffalo.
Yeah, he did. And I'll tell you, it is really tough playing. This is your second consecutive game against a team coming off their bye week. You don't know what to expect. That's a hard thing to do, to really know what to expect and prepare for.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback was down by contact. It will be fourth down. The ball will be placed on the 25-yard line.
Ball will be placed on a 25-yard. That'll make it about a 43-yard field goal now for Billy Cundiff. No one has been immune to this, though, Don. I mean, those plays like that offensively, when they've had to step up, they've made some plays, yes. But when you evaluate this whole thing, both sides of the ball for Baltimore have had their moments where they've really, literally dropped the ball, so to speak.
Cundiff, comeback story. He was out of the NFL for the 07 and 08 seasons. This is officially now going to be a 48-yard attempt. In this league, they all can get it there from 48 with relative ease. Direction's everything. Money behind it. And he's right on time. So the Ravens get points, but not what they want. Cutting the Bills' lead to 11 with 56 seconds to play in the first half.
I was a little bit miffed by that. Pete Morelli, the referee, said the ball was going to be placed at the 25-yard line. They placed it from the 30, and it made it a 48-yard field goal. Fortunately for Baltimore, the ball is at the 30-yard line, so it became a 48-yard kick.
So the Bills will get one more crack at it. Fitzpatrick, their quarterback, has thrown 3 touchdown passes in the first half. 33 yards, 33 yards, and 20 yards. Coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report, join James Brown and company for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Don Craigie with Steve Berline, M&T Bank Stadium. Beautiful day in Maryland. Temperature in the mid-60s. Ravens, a team that Steve Berline thinks is heading to the Super Bowl, up against it today against the winless Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I still feel pretty strongly about this Baltimore team, but man, they need to get their act together.
C.J. Spiller brings it out. He loses the ball.
Out. Yeah.
And the Ravens have it, and that's how fast it changes in this league. Rookie didn't protect it, and Josh Wilson, who gave one up earlier on a kickoff return, takes this one back.
I think it was Jalen Parmalee that knocked that ball out. C.J. Spiller did not see him. Look right there, number 34. Watch him come back into the picture right here. Pops the ball out, strips it out right there. And that's what gave him, Josh Wilson, the chance to get on top of that football. Boy, what a perfect storm for the Baltimore Ravens right now.
It is indeed. A momentum changes in a heartbeat, and it just changed there. 48 seconds. through the run. Bills shut it down at the 27-yard line. Ray Rice runs.
Timeout. Baltimore, second team timeout. Will be
Ravens
a 30
fans are
second
Steve
timeout.
in favor of running the ball there.
Well, but you know, let's use common sense here now too. It's you got 43 seconds in the half, so either way you're going to be taking a timeout probably after that run play. And look at this. Worst starts in Buffalo franchise history. They've been 0-5 before. Generally speaking, it hasn't worked out too well.
Well, it worked out well in the '85 when they started 0-6 and finished 2-14 because they got one of the greatest players in NFL history in the draft, Bruce Smith.
Yes, they did.
How the Steelers' great teams were built. They were first in the draft. One year they got Bradshaw, first in the draft. Another they got Joe Green, offense and defensive cornerstones. Flacco to the end zone, and Quan Bolden. The Bills might have it.
Picked off. Oh, out of the end zone, they're saying. Yeah, but I think that's going to be ruled. It should be reviewed, and we look at the feet and see.
He got his hands all over me. He had to catch it with one hand.
Oh,
Reggie,
yeah, that's going to be a catch.
Reggie corner.
I think that's going to be an interception. He did come down on top of Anquan Bolden.
We will review the previous play.
And the question, Don, is, all right, he had his feet down, and he came down on top of Anquan Bolden, but if the feet are down, to me, it's still a catch, no doubt about it.
How about the holding?
What a great, let's see, when does he have possession? Left foot down, right foot on top of Bolden's leg. Man, oh man. We got to get deep into the rule book here. To me, that's got to be an interception. But
it's got to be a offensive pass interference too. I mean,
well, but they can't call. That's not
No.
reviewable. Definitely was offensive pass interference, but the question is there's no doubt he had possession of the football. His foot would have come down in bounds. His body would have come down in bounds, but he came down right on top of Anquan Bolden. To be 100% honest, I am not sure how this is going to be ruled. My opinion is that it's definitely a catch. He was in the field of play when he caught that football. I mean, look at this effort. Bolden definitely is in play right there. His rump comes down in the end zone. No doubt about it. And you can see very clearly that Reggie Corner was going to be in bounds.
ruling on the field was no interception, so there has to be conclusive evidence to overturn that. I don't know if it's there.
No. Well, but it might be conclusive in the eyes of the officials. They'll be able to explain exactly why they rule one way or the other. To me, I'm sitting here saying, man, the word from the league is that when a player comes down on top of another player, it is not considered in the field of play. Therefore, this may have been a correct rule.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Incomplete pass.
Wow, that's it.
But the Ravens got away with a very blatant offensive pass interference. I mean, he took away his right arm, and he still picked off the ball with the left arm.
Well, and they're very fortunate that Anquan Bolden was in the position that he was to not allow Reggie Corner to come down in the field of play. That's luck.
Third and 10. Flacco out pattern, timing throw. They wave it off. One official's going to give it to him.
So Flacco's got to make that throw. That was a great route by Anthony Mason. Derek Mason, excuse me. Great throw, a great route, wide open on the sideline. Let's see if those toes are in. Can't tell about that left foot.
You like replays? We got replays.
We got plenty of them, no doubt about it. And that's going to be reviewed again.
We will review the previous play.
Pete Morelli not too excited about making that run over here again. And The question is whether that left foot got down on the field of play on this one. The right foot is down. It looks like that was a pretty darn good catch by Derek Mason.
I think that's a good shot. Shows that he probably did have them both down.
Pretty good shot. I was concerned that Joe Flacco had led him out of bounds, that it was not going to be a catch, but a tremendous effort by Derek Mason to get those toes down.
Well, the linesman was spotting the ball for a catch, and then another official came in and waved it off.
Yeah.
Jim Zorn there, the quarterback coach. Well, could he throw the ball with Seattle, a free agent?
Yeah, he spun it the wrong way. He was left-handed, but what a great career he had as a quarterback in the league, and was obviously not as fortunate as a head coach for the Washington Redskins the last couple of years. But tremendous asset to Joe Flacco.
Looks like it's going to go. At least Jim Zorn thinks, though.
Yeah, I think everybody in purple, including John Harbaugh, feels that same way. That would give Baltimore 28 seconds, clock stop. Ball on about the 15-yard line, 16-yard line. Good opportunity for at least 3 more plays.
He was dragging both feet, so it looks like he had him down. But
what can you say about Derek Mason, too? I mean, this guy just puts up numbers year after year after year.
How about 890 receptions for his career now?
Yeah, there literally are not many that have accomplished more.
10 straight seasons, Derek Mason with 60 or more receptions.
Truly amazing. And
of course, he was worried about every receiver is not getting the ball out. He said, you got to realize we've got 3 Pro Bowl receivers out there. Him, Bolden, and the tight end Top Heap.
And receivers by nature, Don, are fairly emotional guys.
And they will try to sell you in the huddle, won't they?
Let's look at this one more time here. Let's see if we can see where those toes come down. And it's kind of hard. I mean, it looks to me. Now remember, it was ruled as an incomplete pass, so it's got to be clear to the referees that both of those feet were down in order to overturn it. It sure looks like they were both dragging to me.
The verdict is in.
After reviewing the play, it is a catch. The receiver had 2 feet down.
One more down.
On the 14-yard line.
So the Ravens now get close. Time very much a factor. 28 seconds to play in the first half.
And Baltimore has 1 timeout left. You know, you could run the football 1 time if you wanted to in this situation, but I wouldn't expect to see it.
Now they
Empty
go
backfield now.
Spread offense. Flacco steps up, throws to the end zone, touchdown again. A great play or very poor coverage. Take your pick. Todd Heap left alone, and he's the go-to receiver. So the fumble by the rookie Spiller is very costly.
Let me tell you, I don't quite understand that what Brian Scott, the safety, and Dante Whitner were thinking. You're going to see all Todd Heap does is go up and turn around, and he's right in between both of those guys. Was there a little bit of a shove? Yeah, I think it's incidental. He's just trying to come out of his break. A good decision by Joe Flacco on time. A lot of trust in his tight end, Todd Heap.
But it's a huge development as the better team will now go to the locker room in all probability down by just 4 points.
Well, that's just living right, too, Don. I'll tell you, to get the fumble from C.J. Spiller and then to have the fumble overturned again, and then the interception that Joe Flacco could have thrown in the end zone where Reggie Corner was ruled out of the end zone. Everything, 3 consecutive plays that really worked in Baltimore's favor to allow that touchdown. Was this a little bit of a push-off on this play? Let's watch Todd Heap. Watch his left arm, or actually his right arm. A little bit on the hip. Done very well, in my opinion, as a former offensive player. And it's one of those things. Did it create the separation? I don't really think it did. but I'm sure there are a lot of people up in Buffalo disagreeing with me right now.
Todd Heap is the Ravens all-time leader in receptions, over 450, and touchdowns, 39 touchdown receptions. There's 23 seconds left in the half. They're staying with Spiller. He's back there. Will he run as hard? Having fumbled the last one. He won't run it at all.
Billy Cundiff is #1 in the NFL in touchbacks. Over half the time he gets it done. We go back to that non-interception. Boy, this is going to be all over the highlights this week. Look at that. It's the fact that his right foot came down on Anquan Bolden's right ankle that kept that from being an interception, because it was a tremendous play by Reggie Corner. The left foot was clearly down. He had clear possession of the football. That allowed Baltimore to get another chance and get the touchdown.
Uncalled was an obvious offensive pass interference. Should have been a 10-yard penalty.
No doubt.
But the Ravens are right back in it. That's the end of the first half with the score, the Bills 24, the Ravens 20. We'll be back with a Sprint halftime report. First, a message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. At the half, the Bills lead the Ravens 24-20. Don Craigie with Steve Berline. The Gunslingers have been at work today. 3 touchdown passes by Fitzpatrick of the Bills, 2 by Flacco, and probably more to come.
Well, you would think more to come the way this game is going. Both teams not afraid to put the ball in the air. It's been absolutely wild out there in the football field, both good and bad. What a game we've got going so far, 24-20.
A lot of replays, probably more of those too. Now we're going to check the points of protection presented by Allstate.
Well, there's been 2 fumbles for Baltimore. They've got to protect the football a little bit better. One of them worked in their favor, the great recovery by Ryan Fitzpatrick on the first drive of the game that prevented Baltimore from getting the ball deep in Buffalo territory. Then the lost fumble at the end of the half by C.J. Spiller. For Baltimore, protect your secondary. Boy, they're getting torched by Lee Evans and Steve Johnson. 3 touchdown passes, as you said, a lot of yards. Ryan Fitzpatrick is making it look easy. Fabian Washington is really having some issues out there in the field. He's got to step it up, or they've got to find a way to get someone else out there.
And there's been a lot of tight calls, these replays. I mean, this is a tough game to officiate. There have been so many close plays. You talk about the small window you get, Steve, in the NFL to complete a pass, and boy, they're fitting in some tight spots, these quarterbacks.
They're making it look pretty easy out there at this point. But look at what Buffalo has done. This is what the message Chan Gailey gave to his team over the last week and a half during their bye week, how they've played so poorly coming out of the halftime break. They've been outscored 63-14 in the third quarter alone, and that, he thinks, is as significant as any other factor in their 0-5 record at this point.
That bears repeating. They've been outscored 63-14 in the third quarter of the Bills.
Third quarter alone. So let's see if that point of emphasis pays off for Chan Gailey and the Buffalo Bills. If I'm the Baltimore Ravens right now, I am really, really happy that I'm within 4 points, because this game could easily be out of reach were it not for that late fumble by C.J. Spiller and a couple of things that have worked in Baltimore's favor, without a doubt.
Well, remember the Bills won the toss and they elected to defer. They put their defense out first, and now the Bills will get the ball to start the third quarter. Ravens, Cundiff ready to kick it off. But fumbles have been big in this game. Spiller, the rookie for the Bills, their top draft choice, fumbling a kickoff. And the Ravens would score again and cut a 14-point lead down to 4. Cundiff again booms the long ball. You can't run them back when they're out of the end zone. Great job by Cundiff. So we look now at the halftime stats, Steve.
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that kind of jump out at you. When was the last time anybody gained 262 yards against the Baltimore Ravens in the first half? But look at this. That's a huge one in my book right there, because this Buffalo Bills team has been averaging only 25 minutes of possession per game. They've been literally 10 minutes less with the football than all their opponents this year. Right now, they're truly controlling this football game. Baltimore, again, very fortunate to still be in the game.
Look at how this works out. The Bills spread the field, a spread offense. No running back in the game. Fitzpatrick stands in, intercepted. And this game has changed totally. Ed Reed, the great one, is back. And there's the official announcement. He's back.
Well, I guarantee you, Don, in the halftime locker room, Ray Lewis made it very clear to the defense they need to step up. Who is it that steps up? Ray Lewis with the tip. Ed Reed with the interception. Baltimore Ravens back in control. The two guys that you would expect to be the biggest factors right there on the very first play. Chan Gailey thinking, let's come out, spread the field, be aggressive, go after him. Bad decision by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Roscoe Parrish was not open down the middle of the field. That ball should not have been thrown.
But it was, and the Ravens now looking to drive this ball in and take the lead for the first time. Wide open, Ravens take the lead. Anquan Boldin makes it look easy. A 44-yard touchdown.
That truly was a great play call. This is the strike zone right here. Offensive coordinators love to get the ball back after a turnover in a situation right here around the 40 to 50-yard line. Most of these guys that are aggressive offensively are going to take a shot in that situation. The flea flicker, a great call. Don, you called it before the ball was even in the air.
Yeah, you can see he had the defense beat, and they bit completely on the run.
Yep, we've got a player down on the field.
If you want to pinpoint one thing that changed this game, the fumble by Spiller, everything changed.
You're right. Fumble by Spiller within the last minute of the ball game gave the Ravens good field position. Then, of course, the non-interception that I to this minute still believe was an interception. Don't know who that is on the field yet at this point.
Ravens now up for the first time 26-24. It wasn't that long ago. They trailed 24-10. But the good teams find a way to win. And the bad teams, you know the rest.
Well, Buffalo, I've been very impressed with how they've handled themselves to this point. We'll see if they can keep it going when we come back.
Todd Heap has just come off the field. We're trying to get word just what happened to him. He actually fell down out there when he wasn't hit.
Untouched.
And with this extra point, the Ravens will have scored 17 points in the last minute and 12 seconds. Bills turnovers keyed the comeback, and the Ravens have the lead.
Well, Don, you talked about Todd Heap. You've never seen anything quite as baffling as this. You know, he's had the neck problems from those two hits last week. Watch the right side of your screen. He's standing there, and he just crumples to the ground. That is scary.
It is. He did walk off under his own power.
He did. I mean, he really hardly touched anybody on that play. He was in pass protection, but really didn't have anybody to block. And he just turned and fell to the ground. I was talking to him before the game. His neck has really been giving him a lot of problems. There were two hits in that New England game last week. The one that we all saw, the Brandon Merriweather hit, which was the most obvious illegal hit of the week last week. And then later in the game, another hit by Brandon Merriweather, also an illegal hit the NFL ruled later in the week, jarred his neck even more. So he's really been struggling with it this week. True testimony to him being out there on the field today, playing as well as he has. But boy, if I'm Todd Heap and if I'm John Harbaugh, I'm scared to put him back out on the field right now.
Being attended to by 3 or 4 physicians on the Ravens sideline. Donald Jones, in his wisdom, elects to take the touchback and go to the 20.
And here are the two hits on Todd Heap. The one hit that we all saw so clearly, right? Head to head. And look at the jolt on that neck. He said that was the one that really did the most damage. But later in the game, another hit by Brandon Merriweather was more of a jarring hit, kind of compressing the neck. And you can see they're obviously working on that. He's very uncomfortable right now.
So now can the Bills answer after they played so well? Jackson, as the Bills try to settle it down. They came out in a spread offense to open the third quarter. First throw, tip ball by Ray Lewis, interception by Ed Reed, then a flea flicker, and it might have been Goodnight Irene at that point.
You know what? But if I'm Chan Gailey, I'm very, very happy that Ryan Fitzpatrick is my quarterback right now. His temperament, his personality, his confidence is going to keep this team from panicking at this point. You're only down 3 points.
Second down. It's actually 7 they need, not 8. Throw and a catch. First down Bills. Stupar with his first catch of the day at tight end. What we're getting from the sideline is that Todd Heap had a stinger to the right shoulder. His return to the game probable. That's good to hear.
It's good to hear, but I say you let him sit. There's obviously something going on there. He had no contact with anybody and buckled on that play.
Ball out to the Bills, 31. Jackson protecting the ball nicely and getting ahead for a gain of about 5. Backer Jared Johnson with a stop for the Ravens.
And look at this, Don. The total yards today. Buffalo's ranked 30th coming in the league. Only 251 total yards a game. Now, a lot of that over the first few weeks of the season because their offense has played better under Ryan Fitzpatrick. But today, just into the third quarter, 276 yards.
Bills have 89 yards rushing, Steve. That's good at this point in the game against the Ravens. All of a sudden, the door slams on Fred Jackson. Suggs and Johnson outside. Backers converge on him. All right.
Boy, Kelly Gregg right there, number 97. And company laying the wood to Fred Jackson. That's some popping, but Ryan Fitzpatrick, Chan Gailey, they'll take 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. They've been pretty successful under 7 yards all year.
3rd down. This is where the Bills have struggled mightily this season. Here comes the rush. There's the throw. It looks like he got there. They're going to rule him just short. Literally now, let's see. The other linesman comes in, and where he's coming in, the Bills have it.
Yeah, boy, it's a favorable spot there.
Fabian Washington comes up with a hit on Lee Evans. They're very wary of 83 on the Bills. Lee Evans, he's caught 2 for touchdowns today.
Well, give Fabian Washington credit because he came up and made that tackle despite the fact he's been torched a few times on the outside. I think this is a very favorable spot for Buffalo. I think Lee Evans was well short of that 41-yard line, but
well, they do get the spot at the 41, so the Bills drive on.
John Harbaugh considering it. He had the red flag in his hand there.
Jackson, good vision, reads the gap, cuts back, gets some, not a lot, out to the 44.
Don, you know this as well as anybody. A good first down run is about a 2 to 3 yard. You'll take that 3 yard, and we see Todd Heap still getting worked on the sideline there, still being tended to. But Buffalo, I like the fact they're staying committed to this run game because that's what's going to open up the big play opportunities as this game goes along.
You got to keep that defense playing run. Ravens really with safeties way back. Spiller. And coming all the way up from safety is DeJuan Landry. Gets him out of bounds.
Nice gain on the play, but C.J. Spiller, they're going to look at this film tomorrow, and they're going to show him that when you get on the outside there like that, the odds of you breaking to the outside, unless it's very clear, are pretty slim. You need to get in the habit of, and you're going to see it right here, get in the habit of when you turn north and south, stick it up in there and get 3 or 4 more yards up inside. Bouncing it outside, you're not going to get a whole heck of a lot more in this league.
Now, official stops play, and the Ravens call a timeout with a 3rd and 2 coming up for the Bills.
First team timeout.
So Fitzpatrick goes to the sideline to talk it over. Tonight on 60 Minutes, how did a TV show about guys and cars and laughs become one of the most popular shows on the planet? Find out tonight on 60 Minutes, only CBS. 3rd down arises for the Bills, who led at one point 24-10. Now are down to the Ravens 27-24. Ravens scoring 17 unanswered points over a stretch in the late 2nd quarter, early 3rd quarter of 1 minute and 12 seconds.
And look at the story right there. You see 3rd down, not very good on the season for Buffalo. Much better today. 2 of 3 on the 3rd and longs. Much better than their average.
Ravens come with 4. Fitzpatrick runs for it. Helmet comes off, and he's down inside the 45-yard line. So Fitzpatrick pulls it down. Big rush on him. He gets ahead on 3rd and 2 for an 8-yard gain.
And what a luxury this is for Chan Gailey to have a quarterback who can run like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He averages 8 yards a carry this year. Run for more yards than most any quarterback in the NFL consistently when he starts. When you get that 3rd and 2, he knows that he can run and pick up the 1st down if he doesn't like what he sees up the field.
And if he gets a chance, he likes to block. On the rare occasion he gets out in front of a runner. Here's a handoff and terrific defense by the Ravens, as Fred Jackson finds nothing but penetration by the Ravens defensive front. Kelly Gregg is in there. So hard to move. Greg told us on Friday, what better thing to spend, what better way to spend your Sunday afternoon than to play in the NFL?
He just loves to compete and have fun, and you know, he says the big thing for him is effort. And his quote to us was, hey, you shouldn't have to coach effort. You know, just all you got to do is do the best you can, try as hard as you can. You might make a few plays.
And then those alarms go off in his head, he told us. And he thinks he's going to be double teamed, right? Ball slapped back. Jared Johnson down but up. He might have turned an ankle. The outside linebacker, he's really been a good player. 4th straight season that Johnson has started every game for the Ravens, 95.
Well, all right, now here we got one of these 3rd down situations again. 3rd and 12. They're 2 for 3 on 3rd and 8 plus. Going into the day, they were 2 of 32. This is a tough one here, though.
Roscoe Parrish is in the slot. Ryan Fitzpatrick finds a way.
Now he's a little bit short.
I don't know if he is.
He is. They're marking about a yard short. And Chan Gailey, I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to go for this one. I shouldn't say no doubt. I mean, never an absolute. But look,
the spot is short. Yep.
Just so you know, too, Don, Ryan Fitzpatrick's 8 yards per rush is #1 in the NFL for quarterbacks. He picked up 11 on that play. And here we go. Chan Gailey definitely going for it. I agree with this 100%. You're 0-5. Show some confidence in your team. Let's make a play.
Everybody's up in a sold-out stadium. And now the Bills wisely call a timeout.
First team timeout.
4th and a yard with the ball. The Sport is coming up as they've lost their lead but are driving now. Steve Berline, give us a play call now. 4th and 1.
Well, I know that Chan Gailey just wants a play that's going to work. Their 3rd quarter woes.
He dives.
No, he didn't get it.
They didn't give it to him. Ravens take over the ball.
No, didn't get it. You know, I do applaud
absolutely
the attitude going for it. You know, with your mobile quarterback, you'd like to think that you could pick up a couple of yards. This didn't happen.
So the Ravens stop the Bills' drive and take over the ball. Fourth down try by the Bills is stopped by the Ravens, and now Baltimore takes over the ball. Pitch. Ray Rice. He gets about 7 or 8. Misdirection. Jairus Byrd stops him. Jairus Byrd with no interceptions this year.
Look at those last 4 possessions for Baltimore, Don. That's pretty impressive right there.
24 points worth of impressive.
Yeah, you called it, and in a little over a minute they scored 3 touchdowns.
Rice. Second and short. First down Ravens. I think they're going to try to hit him again over the top and maybe put this away.
You know, they may very well do that, Don. I think that in this situation, and I've been saying it all day, I mean, this Buffalo defense, you run at them. And sure, you've made some plays in the passing game. You've had a few breaks go your way. But you got to run at them eventually.
Rollout. Flacco throwing on the run off the hands of Bolden. 2nd and 10 Ravens. Reggie Corner was covering on the play.
And this is a catch that, a throw and a catch that Anquan Bolden and Joe Flacco should be able to make in their sleep. A little bit outside, off the fingertips. But, you know, and I keep harping on this running thing, though, Don, but if you were struggling running the ball, then I could see how you would want to go to throw in the passing game. But they're averaging over 9 yards a carry still running the football.
Well, McGahee, 4 carries, 45 yards running it. Beautiful throw and catch. Live ball, but it came off the ground. They're going to rule it down.
They rule it down, but...
Boy, that looked like a room service fumble, but the ground caused it.
Ruled down by contact. First down.
13-yard gain. Ravens drive on.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that Anquan Bolden was down. Ball hits the ground, pops out. Yep, no doubt about it.
So the Ravens now methodically moving the ball down the field after stopping a 4th down try by the Bills. Ray Rice to the 38-yard line. Or Spencer Johnson makes the stop for the Bills. One of the Bills' problems was adjusting to yet another new defensive coordinator and another new defensive system. George Edwards is the defensive coordinator for the first year. He was the linebacker coach for the past 5 years for the Dolphins. So a lot of things, there's a lot of adjusting going on in the first third of this season for the Bills.
No doubt, and it'll continue because they wanted to make that transition to a 3-4 defense, but the personnel is not quite where it needs to be to make that full-time commitment. We're seeing a lot of 4-man front today.
Rice, terrific, a cutback move, takes him to the 33-yard line of the Bills. Ray Rice, 5'8", 210 pounds. Coming into the game, averaging 3.9 a carry this year, but for his career, he's in his 3rd year from Rutgers. He is averaging 4.7 yards a carry.
64.
Well, it keeps Ray Rice and Willis McGahee, whoever is out there, into the game a little bit more, but it also speeds up the game. Ray Rice averaging over 5 yards a carry.
11 carries, 57 yards. Ray Rice. 3rd down. McGahee is stopped.
Very nice play by Andre Davis, the veteran middle linebacker right there to make the play on Willis McGahee, keep him short of the first down. John Harbaugh has a decision to make now.
Be like a 49-yard field goal.
He's telling him to stay out in the field. Cam Cameron calling a play.
So now, can the Bills stop a 4th down try by the Ravens? As the Ravens did possession to go.
And this really is where games are won and lost. Plays like this right here.
He might throw it. Run it. He does throw it. Beautifully executed. Tremendous football. Is he going in? No, he loses his footing down at the 15-yard line. LeRon McClain, he checked down to the fullback. A 16-yard gain on 4th and 1.
Well, LeRon McClain is a big, big man, 6 foot 260. Look at him snap this route off, though. He's running on a defensive back out there. He snapped it off, and you can see right there, George Wilson, the safety, was still running up the field. Coach Harbaugh and Cam Cameron happy with the way that resulted.
Cameron was criticized for being too conservative late in the game at New England last week. Not today.
Not today. No way.
Todd Heap back in the game after suffering that stinger. Now a handoff, looking for blockers, finding blockers. Willis McGahee is finally knocked out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Got almost 6 on that carry.
And there is Todd Heap, Don, and I don't agree with the fact that he's out there on the field right now. There's something that's not right, and you can tell. I could tell when I was talking to him before the game, and you could tell when you watch him out there in the field. His face just doesn't look right to me. You know, I just think there's something a little bit more going on.
Well, he is such an outstanding player. Like today, he's caught 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, he's playing great football. And that's a nice, strong run up the middle by the Ravens. Ray Rice right off the left tackle. And I'm not, just so we're on the same page, I'm not questioning the decision by the medical staff. They obviously are being very thorough with how they go about this. They don't take this lightly at all.
They've got multiple medical experts on the sideline, these teams. Bills attacking McGahee. Got a 1st and goal.
In case you missed it the first time, watch Todd Heap on the side of the screen right here. As the play goes, he just collapsed right there. And if anybody thinks that's normal, then we've got a little bit of a disagreement.
That was very frightening. Checked out thoroughly on the sideline. They said he can go. As John Harbaugh, his coach. They got the 1st down. 1st and goal now for the Ravens. Power football going right at the Bills with a power running game. Gets her hard. Rice's helmet comes flying off on contact. And they're strapped on tightly when you head in there.
They are. They are. It takes a pretty good shot to knock that thing off.
12 men on the field. Defense. Half the distance to the goal remains. 1st down.
Hey, I'm all for doing whatever it takes to try and stop them. You know? we 12 men on the field.
Works in Canada, right?
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right there. Andre Davis is trying to get off the field, but couldn't get off quickly enough. Harbaugh knows it. Yep, he knows it. Too many.
McGahee could be the call here. McGahee.
Walking in. Oh.
Soon to be 24 unanswered points by the Ravens. After they were down 24-10, they now own the game.
Yep, a nice call there. Good job by Leotis McKelvin and Paul Posluszny to try and, it looked to me right here, it was a walk-in. They tried to get over there, but a nice job of slashing between them by Willis McGahee.
The ominous 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
The undoing of the Bills' season. That was the first rushing touchdown today by either team. All the others have come by pass.
Well, 15 seconds into the 3rd quarter, there was already an interception and a touchdown for Baltimore. So
look at this. In the 3rd quarter of this season, Bills outscored 77-14.
And nobody's losing more sleep than that man right there about that. And here's what the 3rd quarter's been like today. First play of the 2nd half. Ray Lewis deflection, Ed Reed interception. Next play, flea flicker for a touchdown. Anquan Bolden from Joe Flacco, and then 4th down stop, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love Chan Gailey going for it, didn't work out. 4th down conversion at the other end to LaRon McClain, and then the touchdown, Willis McGahee. That has been the summary of that 3rd quarter. Not much good for Chan Gailey's troops.
So with 59 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, the Ravens have now built a 10-point lead after trailing by 14. But the Bills know this sad story. They've heard this song before. Last game 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
It looked like they're going to rout Jacksonville.
This is the 5th consecutive game they've allowed over 30 points as well, Don.
5 consecutive games over 30 points. We're a long way from done. Cundiff's a real weapon. You don't get many runbacks against him. Wednesday on CBS, when the prosecution fights dirty, the defenders fight back. Jim Belushi and Jerry O'Connell star. Wednesday, only CBS.
Well, you can say what you want also, Don. You know, this Baltimore Raven team under John Harbaugh, they're 27-16 counting the playoffs. They know how to win. It may not always be their style of game, but they find a way to get it done, especially at home.
Yeah, they're unbelievable running. The last 2 years, they've run for more yards at home than any team in the NFL, the Ravens have. Chris Carr makes the stop on Roscoe Parrish.
Well, I think it's important for Buffalo here. You know, you got a young team who has been in this position where they're trailing going into the 4th quarter a lot. And it's almost, what have you done? You know, what are we going to do now? Here we go again. But stay with the game plan. 4th quarter is just starting. You're down 10 points. You put together a nice scoring drive here. You're 1 score away from taking control again.
Fitzpatrick 15-21 for 199. 3 for touchdowns, then the interception. Beautifully timed throw, but just off the fingertips of the super fast Lee Evans.
And Ed Reed pulled up a little lame at the end of that play. He didn't. You know, the old Ed Reed, the younger Ed Reed, I think would have made this play. But watch on the sideline. You see he kind of pulls up on the sideline after he gets there. He was a step or two late making the play.
Hey, though, Steve, the older Ed Reed, he can still move.
Hip. Well, he can still move, but I think, you know, maybe in a few weeks when he gets his burst back, he'll make that play on that ball.
3rd down. Bills need 4. All-out blitz. Downfield throw. Intercepted. Ed Reed. Only great. Incomparable. Ed Reed to the 9.
He's hurting.
So are the Bills because of Ed Reed.
The 3rd quarter.
That ends the 3rd quarter with the Ravens now in command. Now word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're back to M&T Bank Stadium. Ed Reed going off after his 2nd interception of the day. He's making his first appearance after missing the first 6 weeks. Underwent off-season hip surgery. And on the return, a 40-yard return of the interception, apparently pulled something. Now the Bills are all over the ball. They think they have it. They do have it. Kyle Williams, who is questionable to start, comes up with a big play. McGahee, the former Bill, coughs it up. Bills are still in it. Ravens could have put it away there.
Yeah, McGahee and Joe Flacco, just not a good exchange. You see, McGahee never got the ball, and then unwisely trying to fiddle with it and pick it up off the ground instead of just getting down on that ball. Kyle Williams, Mr. Opportunistic, jumps on that football and gives his Buffalo Bill teammates a chance to get back into this ball game.
But this number 3 ranked Raven defense is certainly looking like it now, Steve. They're tough to move on. Bills need big plays, down by 10. Ravens aren't about to give them up.
And again, though, Don, you and I were talking at the intermission there at the last commercial. I still think Buffalo does not need to get desperate. They come out throwing. They're spreading the field out in that last drive. Stay with your offense. Run the ball. Put a nice drive together. You got to have a little urgency, but move the ball down the field, get some points, and you're right back in this ball game.
Putting up yards. 317 so far. Fitzpatrick throws. Shooting at Roscoe Parrish. Coverage was good. Nakamura covering as an extra DB.
But you know what you're doing, Don? When you go to this type of an offense, you're playing into the Ravens' hands. You go to their nickel package. You put out 3, 4 wide receivers. You spread the field. Now that is where Baltimore gets very exotic with their defense. And that's where they start causing confusion, chaos, and that equals problems for the offense. If you have to do it, 3rd down and long, or when you're trailing late in the game, you got to do it. But right now, they don't have to do this.
Nakamura has come in for Ed Reed. He's playing now because of that. Tommy Zbikowski's out with a heel injury. Here's a throw and a catch. Roscoe Parrish, he's not done. Dives out to the 39-yard line. Maybe to the 40. Big play, a 21-yard gain on 3rd and long.
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick told us that he thought Roscoe Parrish was going to come up big today. He sure came up big on that 3rd and long. Ball out of the pocket, good protection by the young offensive line. And then Roscoe Parrish, he knows what to do once he gets that football in his hands.
He's got quick on quick. Great punt return during his career, one of the all-time best in the NFL. 12 plus a punt return. 6th all-time. Jackson, school veteran, both arms on the ball.
And I like that, though. Get back, run him up in there. Make this Ravens defense play real defense. Make them stop the run. You're moving the ball. You're doing well. Keep it going. Look at this Ryan Fitzpatrick first half versus second half. Right there, obviously the big difference. You give Baltimore a couple of opportunities to make plays. They're going to make them more often than not.
Second down, Fred Jackson looks to turn the corner. Ravens all over it. And hesitate on these guys. Lost yardage on the play, and again the Bills face 3rd and long.
Well, we talked earlier in the game, Don, about if you're going to run at this Baltimore defense, you got to run at them. This is a little bit of it's a wide counter play. They've run it 2 or 3 times today. It hasn't worked that great as far as my recollection goes. Their bigger plays have been the straight ahead, off tackle, just get up on people and let Fred Jackson pick a hole. C.J. Spiller, same thing.
I don't know if the Ravens can cover number 11 on the Bills, Roscoe Parrish. 3rd down. Bills need 7. Fastball.
Nice catch.
And he does have it to midfield and a 1st down. That's Steve Johnson, who very quietly is very impressive.
Very impressive. He's been quiet in the second half, and they're going to give him the 1st down. You're right, Don. Nice, tough catch. Good throw. Protecting Stevie Johnson from the big hit. And, boy, what a great catch going down and getting that football.
So the Bills needing scores, and the Ravens with their tough D looking to get it back. They've forced 3 Buffalo turnovers, 2 interceptions, and a fumble of a kickoff return.
Well, we've been talking a lot about this guy, Stevie Johnson. He likes to be called Stevie. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Changia, they'll call him whatever he wants to be called if he keeps making plays like this. He looks like he's an old vet out. He's very, very comfortable doing whatever they ask him to do on the football field, just making plays. And I'll tell you, I had a gut feeling about him. That's why I picked him up on my fantasy team. First time a Buffalo Bill wide receiver's gone over 100 yards in 12 games.
Harold Owens was the last. A distant memory. Here is a handoff now, and running with the ball is Spiller. Stevie Johnson, 5 receptions, 109 yards and 1 touchdown. The Bills, they've only had 1 winning season in the new millennium. Bills fans, they still hear the echoes of glory past. Those great teams in the 90s, 4 straight Super Bowl teams. Yep. All those Hall of Famers on it.
Yep. They were great. They were great.
Bills are 8 of 12 converting 3rd downs. Throw. Big rush put on. Ray Lewis came on a blitz, and he delivered just as Fitzpatrick's arm was coming forward. Incomplete pass.
I'll tell you, Ray Lewis continues to do it. I saw a quote from him this week. It cracked me up. He said, be careful what you ask for. People asking for Ray Lewis when he's going to retire. He said, an older Ray Lewis is a wiser Ray Lewis. And he's still flying around making plays. Unbelievable.
And back to return the punt is Ed Reed. So apparently, whatever was the problem is not much of a one. And over end punt. Ed Reed coming up to fair catch the ball. At the 5. Ravens take over deep in their own end, but the game well in hand, it would seem, with a 10-point lead and 9:53 to play. Back to Baltimore with Steve Berline. I'm Don Criqui. The Ravens, scoring 24 unanswered points, have come from 14 down to lead the Bills by 10. Now the Ravens go 1st and 10 from their 6-yard line. 7. Here's a false start signal, pre-snap foul. That'll be penalized half the distance.
Half the distance to the goal. Remains first down.
They talk about the Bills drafting a quarterback. I've seen Jake Locker of Washington. He is not, at this point, isn't on the same planet as Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No.
He's inaccurate.
No doubt about it.
And they're projecting him as a #1 pick.
Are they still?
If luck doesn't come out. I can't believe they are, but
this is the first time in the history of the Buffalo Bills they've allowed 30 points in 5 straight games.
Ravens want more. Over the top. Hill almost got it. Running hard and running deep. Dayton Florence. Anquan Bolden was the target deep.
Good coverage by Drayton Florence. I'll tell you, if you're Chan Gailey, you're sitting here thinking about what's going on to your team again. And we talked about a lot of different things in our meeting with him yesterday, but the theme basically was, hey, these guys are working hard. They're practicing hard. They're doing things they're supposed to be doing in practice. It just hasn't carried over to the games yet. The mistakes that they're working on and correcting in practice, they're still making a lot of them in the games. They show up at the worst time possible.
Run out to the 9-yard line. Well, during the week, Chris Kelsey, outside linebacker, said that 90% of the big plays against us aren't what they did. It's what we didn't do. Mistakes on assignments, wrong coverage, over pursuing.
And Reggie Torbor, the middle linebacker for them, we talked with him. He called a players-only team meeting to address some of these things. And one of the things he thought was a major issue was trust for this defense. Defensive teams that are really good, they trust their teammates are going to do what they're supposed to do, be where they're supposed to be. He thinks the Buffalo Bills try to cover for each other too much.
Flacco swings it out. Bills defend well. Ravens will punt from around their own goal line.
But the other point, though, Don, that Reggie Torbor made was, and I think more important in the purpose of the meeting, players-only meeting, was to try and let this team know this is a team that's been through a lot in recent years. A lot of coaching instability, a lot of change, a lot of young players. These young players don't have anybody really showing them how to be professional and be businesslike about how they go about their jobs. They need to get better with that.
Tremendous punt by Cook. He booms it against an all-out rush. Fair catch is made by Roscoe Parrish. Bills get the ball after a 53-yard punt. You can build your own football dynasty and compete year-round with CBSSports.com franchise football. Find out more at CBSSports.com/franchise. Bills with all. Down by 10. First down. Beautifully timed throw in the flat. Timing pattern to Roscoe Parrish.
Well, I'll tell you what. Ryan Fitzpatrick is starting to take a few shots out there as this Buffalo Bills defense starts bringing the heat a little bit. Corey Redding got him right there. Look at the Buffalo second half possessions, though. Totally the opposite of the first half. Interception, downs, interception, punt. You look at the first 4 possessions of the first half, it was a punt, 2 touchdowns, and a field goal.
Bottom line in the whole game, the Ravens are a really good team. Here is a slip screen, and Jackson's on the run. Penalty markers down. It could negate a 21-yard gain.
And a really good play by
Illegal formation, offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty remains.
Chris
First
Kelsey.
down.
It's not what they did. It's what we didn't do.
Exactly. Chan Gailey, same thing. We have the worst timing with some of these mistakes. They know how to line up. They ran that play in practice all week. They call it in the game as somebody lines up on the line of scrimmage or not on the line of scrimmage, and you take away a 20-plus yard gain right there on a very well executed play. It's hard to make yards in the NFL.
Boy, is it. Well, instead of 21 yards plus, 5 yards minus, and it's now 1st and 15. The Bills need big plays. They've got to start throwing deep. Johnson. Look at him go. You picked him out. You
got to love what you see in this. He makes it look so easy. I don't know if he's hit the ground all day. That's a 35-yard gain. And Ryan Fitzpatrick said he's not going to beat you with his speed. But have you seen anybody catch him? They can't even get a hand on him hardly. Great throw and catch. I love the way how easy this former 7th-round draft choice 3rd-year player makes it look.
We got big-time talent out of Kentucky. 1st and 10 Bills. Jackson. Yards are coming grudgingly against this tough Raven front. Nada makes the stop. The 345-pound lineman for the Ravens. This is how long it's been since the Bills have had a 300-yard passer.
Oof.
Patrick's up to 274.
59 games. I'd like to get that monkey off the back. Ryan Fitzpatrick will trade it all for find a way to get that first win.
The Bills desperate for a win. Jackson leaves inside on 2nd down. Got a couple. It'll be 3rd and about 5. Lon Landry coming up from the safety position to make the stop.
Well, now, though, Don, we're in that period now with just over 6 minutes left in the game. Chan Gailey needs to have his troops playing with a little bit more urgency, and you've got to be a little bit more aggressive in how you go about doing things now.
Time's a factor, too. It's down to 6 minutes and running.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to find a way to really pick up the tempo a little bit here.
Spread formation. Blitzers are aligned. Here they come. Quick out. Nicely done. And the Bills are going to take it in. Lee Evans. So Ryan Fitzpatrick so quick to read and react and make the perfect play.
He saw the blitz coming. He knew where his safety valve was, and that was Lee Evans on the quick hitch on the outside. You see the pressure coming off the left side. He throws it right into the teeth of it, and who was victimized again? Fabian Washington. Boy, he's having one of those games where he just thinks this is a bad nightmare. 3 touchdowns for Lee Evans. 1 for Stevie Johnson.
Evans, Steve, has only caught 4 balls for 74 yards and 3 touchdowns, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Singh on target. And one of the fastest Bills is in the end zone again. Don Criqui with Steve Berline back at Baltimore. Bills get into the end zone with still time left of quite a bit of time. 5:46 to play, so they'll boom the ball as far as they can. Connolly is back deep. Hard kick. Brings it out from 2 yards deep. Down at the 20. Fitzpatrick 20 of 30 for 291 and 4 touchdowns. Coming next, Tom Brady leads the Patriots out west to meet Phillip Rivers and the Chargers, or the Raiders tackle the Broncos. Check local listings. Doubleheader day on CBS. Ravens by 3. Come out throwing on 1st down. 2nd and 10.
Now, 2nd 10, right? Clock stops. You got a 3-point lead backed up in your own end. You're not going to see their version of the no huddle offense here because they want to use the clock, but you come out, you throw a pass, and it stops the clock, and you're going against the worst rush defense in the NFL. Is that a good combination to you?
Well, they criticize the Ravens of not being creative and daring an offense at New England. They've been more than that today.
Yeah, no doubt.
Here comes another one. Flacco, deep drop. Long ball. Beautiful play. Beautiful to Derek Mason. Wow. 35 yards. Leotis McKelvin beaten on the play. He's in for the injured Tim McGee.
And I'll tell you what, you gotta tip your hat to Cam Cameron. He has come out with a game plan today, and I'm sure if I were to sit down and talk with him, he'd be able to explain it very clearly. But they have been aggressive from start to finish throwing this football. And right there, great timing on the call. The out and up to Derek Mason. Big time play.
That was really a big time play. Ray Rice got maybe a yard, so the Bills 43, so the Ravens will have second down and about 9 coming up. Marcus Stroud, who left the game earlier, has been back in, makes that stop. Talk about the troubles the Bills have had on defense, Steve, against Jacksonville. Jacksonville scored on 8 of 9 drives in the Bills' last game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of high percentage you want. Jacksonville made it look pretty easy, especially when they had to in the second half. Buffalo now, they have 1 timeout left.
Joe Flacco's not been intercepted. Bills close the door on Ray Rice. Flacco today has hit 16 of 29 for 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Fitzpatrick 4 touchdown passes for the Bills, but he's been picked twice.
Yep. Joe Flacco's reversed that he was having a good game, but trailing to the incomparable Ryan Fitzpatrick in the first half. Now it's kind of come back to normal, back to even. Well, you mentioned Joe Flacco, no interceptions. 11 times he's done it. What's the record? 12.
I don't know. Here's a long ball. He overshoots Anquan Bolden. He really likes Bolden, and why wouldn't you?
And you're right. You would. You need to give your playmaker a chance to make plays. What I meant, though, let me rephrase. When Flacco has thrown 0 interceptions, it's happened 11 times. What's the Baltimore Ravens record?
11-0.
11-0. When he doesn't throw any interceptions, they're usually going to win. Now, no one's told Buffalo that, I'm sure. They're only down 3 points. They're going to get the ball back with plenty of time here.
This Sam Cook, Ravens punter, he is an excellent guy at placing the ball inside the 20. And Roscoe has to fair catch the ball at the 8. Terrific special team work by the Ravens.
Well, let's talk about the buzz around the NFL this week. Boy, there's some crazy things happening out there. Kansas City leading in the AFC West. They're beating Jacksonville, pounding Jacksonville 42-20. In Atlanta, the Falcons flying high. Roddy White, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. And look at this one. This is Cleveland beating New Orleans.
At New Orleans. On the road.
With Colt McCoy at quarterback, 30-10.
They've intercepted. The Browns have Drew Brees 4 times in that game. Bills need a field goal to tie. Ravens aren't allowing anything to Fred Jackson. They've got to throw. Game clock ticking down. Ravens by 3. Corey Redding makes the stop.
There you see Ryan Lindell.
Career long 56.
Yep, comfortably get him to that 38-yard line for a 56-yard field goal.
3 minutes to go. We welcome those of you who've just joined us. Don Quickie with Steve Berline at Baltimore. The Bills led this game 24-10. Then the Ravens came back with 24 unanswered points. Now the Bills battling behind their free agent quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick, to get at least in a long field goal range and maybe send this to overtime.
And it's been an exciting game from start to finish. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 4 touchdowns, 3 to Lee Evans, 1 to Stevie Johnson, who's had a coming out party today, over 100 yards receiving. making this Baltimore defense look very average for most of the game. They played much better in this second half. This is a huge third down situation for Buffalo right now.
Lee Evans on the near flank under the lower portion of the screen has caught 3 touchdown passes. Fitzpatrick. Drop ball. And we are down to the 2-minute warning. Ray Lewis was on that defensive play. The Bills started the second half with a 4-point lead. Then came the Raven onslaught, starting with this interception.
And I'll tell you, it was the 24-20 lead at the half. Ed Reed, first play of the second half, interception. The very first play offensively. Flacco on the flea flicker for the touchdown. Then they get the ball back. Willis McGahee goes in. And then Buffalo not laying down, though, coming back. That was Lee Evans' 3rd touchdown on the day.
And here is the game right now. We welcome those of you who have joined us. 4th down for the Bills. Down by 3. They have to convert this or they're done. It will be a 6th straight loss this season. Ryan Fitzpatrick fires. Ball is caught for a first down. As the Bills hurrying along and no huddle. David Nelson, 14-yard gain on the play.
That's what I love about Ryan Fitzpatrick. Only 1 timeout for Buffalo. That ball was completed to David Nelson. Who's David Nelson?
Rookie from Florida. Looks pretty good. His 11th catch. Ball comes in low. Steve Johnson, who's having a terrific day for the Bills, makes a grab, but the clock runs. 1:24, 1:23 to play.
To be successful in the NFL, you've got to go with your reads, and it doesn't matter who's making the plays. Ryan Fitzpatrick believes that. 4th and 6, he goes to David Nelson for a first down.
Check to the outlet man. Jackson uses the 12th man on the sideline to stop the clock. They've got to get to about the 38-yard line if they go for a tying field goal. Their kicker, Ryan Lindell, has a career long of 56.
They have plenty of time now that they're back out 35-yard line. Ryan Fitzpatrick does not seem to be the kind of quarterback that gets rattled in these situations. He brings confidence to the huddle. Let's see if he can make these guys believe they can actually win a football game.
Well, he's thrown for 318 yards and 4 touchdowns. This free agent from Harvard.
Here comes some pressure.
A lot of pressure. They pick it up. He gets time, and he finds a way to throw for a first down across the 40-yard line. But the clock continues to tick.
David Nelson again.
9-yard gain. Chan Gailey, in his first year as Bills coach, trying to get that elusive first win. Fitzpatrick throws again on target. It is a catch at the 44-yard line. 36 seconds left. And the
Timeout.
Bills do call a timeout with 34 seconds left.
Timeout will be a
12-yard gain on that play. That was their last timeout.
That was their last timeout.
Please
So
set the game clock to 37 seconds. Play clock.
they're going to put the
And
clock
game
back to
Excuse me. Game clock 37 seconds.
back to 37 seconds. They need to get about, we said the 38-yard line, right, Don? So we need about 6 more yards if you're Buffalo,
We will
at
review
least.
the previous play.
Now I'm sure Ryan Lindell, they're going to review the previous play to see if that was a catch by Lee Evans, but I'm sure Ryan Lindell would not object to that ball being a little bit further up, maybe around the 30-yard line.
And this, of course, Steve, a doubleheader day on CBS. The big game at San Diego. Tom Brady and the Patriots against Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. So a timeout on the field with 37 seconds left, and the Bills trying to get in tying field goal range.
Looked like a catch to me.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a catch.
Let's watch that again, Steve.
Yeah, great job by Ryan Fitzpatrick. But look at Lee Evans get down. Watch his hands underneath the football. No doubt on that catch.
Ravens, their defense ranked number 3 in the NFL, and they got their great safety, Ed Reed, back today, and he's picked off 2. Fitzpatrick now up to 339 passing in the game. Blitzers. Throw, timing, catch, ball on the field, incomplete. Lee Evans had it and lost it. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, that was had the right play called at the right time. Lee Evans has had a spectacular game today. Dropped that ball there, but look at this. Look at the offense for Buffalo. On the season, they've almost doubled their average. Ranked 30th in the NFL coming in. But since Ryan Fitzpatrick has been starting at week 3, this offense has been getting better and better. That should have been a catch by Lee Evans right there in that last play.
Yeah, it was a drop. 2nd and 10. Lindell, the field goal kicker, career long of 56. Looking, throwing, and really was out of bounds. No catch. 3rd and 10. Steve Johnson making some great plays today. Almost made another. Almost.
You see Ryan Lindell. He's had 12 game-winning field goals. Terrell Suggs, I think his eyes lit up. He saw Ryan Fitzpatrick kind of rolling toward him. He had a chance to make a big sack, which would have been an absolute nightmare for Chan Gailey and the Buffalo Bills. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, he can move outside of that pocket. Almost made a play.
Bills would like to get another 10 yards to try a field goal. They won't make it from here in all probability. Big down. Fitzpatrick throws. First down Bills. Almost a horse collar.
Got to get up and clock the ball.
13 seconds left.
Hold up, guys.
Kind of hurry.
Terrell Suggs is down on the field.
Baltimore will be charged a timeout under a minute with the game clock running and an injury. By rule, a timeout will be charged. Second team timeout.
Very important member of the Ravens defense, Terrell Suggs, who told us on Friday when we met with him, I don't like quarterbacks. He looked right at Steve Berline while he was saying it.
Well, let's see what happened. He's coming around over the top there. It's hard to tell what happened. He's on the bottom, but below Corey Redding. He kind of gets tripped up coming around the edge. What a great play by Stevie Johnson and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Good to see Terrell Suggs up walking off the field. And Ryan Lindell now comfortably in field goal range. This would be a 50-yarder from right here, Don.
Yep. The Hall of Fame owner of the Buffalo Bills, the
Baltimore
founder.
has been charged a timeout. That will be their second team timeout. Clock will start on the snap.
Ralph Wilson, 92 years old today, watching the game back in Michigan. Ralph picking up speed and going for 100. 92 today.
Good for him. Wondering how much longer he's got to wait for win number 1.
Well, during the week he talked about it's going to take
Patience, and there'll be pain.
There's no Buffalo, no timeout, so they've got to kick it here.
50-yarder to tie, and we could be headed to overtime then. Had plenty of distance.
He got it.
He's on time.
Boy.
With 4 seconds left, the Bills rally back, score the last 10 points of regulation, and tie the game.
What can you say about the Buffalo Bills? 0-5 and fighting for this game as hard as anybody could possibly fight. Backed up in their own end zone and putting together a game-tying drive with 4 seconds left. And then Ryan Lindell stepping up and nailing it. Ryan Fitzpatrick, boy, he just seemed so cool, you know. No doubt in his mind that he was going to make that kick.
Well, he was originally a 7th-round draft choice of the Rams after being Ivy League Player of the Year at Harvard. Ryan Fitzpatrick spent some time with the Bengals, but he is really looks to be a rising star at Buffalo. He came into the game as the 4th leading pass rating. He had a 99.9 coming in.
He's played very consistently since week 17 of last year. He is the highest rated quarterback in the NFL. So, you know, that's a stretch of about 5 games now. If you look at his rating versus everybody else. Joe Flacco, you know, we've been talking a lot about the Buffalo Bills here lately because they've been trying to tie this game up, but Joe Flacco himself has had quite a game today. Down 24-10. He's led this Ravens team on a really nice comeback and actually got control of this ball game.
Here is the kickoff now. They squib it downfield, a line drive into the end zone. with 1 second left. So the Ravens have a chance, Steve, to launch.
Please set the game
This
clock.
should be
Put it back to
4
4,
seconds.
yeah.
No one
Put it
touched
back
the ball.
Put it back to 4. It's a doubleheader day on CBS. The big game, both big games, but the Tom Brady and the Patriots play Phillip Rivers and the Chargers at San Diego.
And we had that game last week, the Chargers and the Rams, and I think everybody in the country, much like today, felt that last week the Chargers would explode and take control of that ball game. The Rams stepped up and handed them their 5th loss. Eager to see how they're going to respond today. And Buffalo has, I'm sure, surprised a bunch of people around the country with how they performed to this point today.
So there we are. We played 60 minutes and we're not done. Going to overtime at Baltimore. Also in a second game today, in addition to the Patriots at San Diego, the Broncos and the Raiders, and don't they hate each other?
Oh man, I played on both of those teams. They do not like each other a bit. Let's look at the regular season overtime rules. Pretty clear right there. It's going to be a coin toss. There'll be 1 period. Each team gets 2 timeouts. There are no coaches' challenges, only the booth. And the first team to score wins.
And if they should go in regular season play, the full 15 minutes without a score, it's a half game won and a half game lost.
It is. Another way of saying
For
it's
each
tied.
team. There is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who leads the Bills. They've identified their leader. A lot of speculation on who the Bills would pick in the draft coming up.
We are
Long way
beginning
off.
sudden death overtime. It will be a 15-minute period. Each team will have 2 timeouts. All reviews will be upstairs from the booth. This is tails. This is heads. You may call it. Tails is the call. Heads it is. You've won the toss. You want to receive. Thank you. Baltimore will receive at this end.
50-yarder on the way. And Ryan Lindell delivers, and the Bills send it to overtime. This is Don Criqui with Steve Berline back at Baltimore. Number 9, Ryan Lindell just hit a 50-yard field goal with 4 seconds left, and then clock went out on the first possession after the kickoff. And we're in overtime. A back-and-forth game. The winless Buffalo Bills had a 24-10 lead on the Ravens. And then the Ravens came back with an unbelievable onslaught and took a 10-point lead, 34-24. The Bills rallied for the last 10 points of the game, and they send it to overtime. Here's the kickoff, and they'll bring it back. Jalen Parmalee. Chopped to the 25-yard line.
Well, I thought Parmalee had a seam there. That was a heck of a tackle by Donald Jones. Another undrafted rookie for the Buffalo Bills, closing that seam up. And Joe Flacco, you can see where Joe Flacco needs to get for Billy Cundiff to comfortably have a shot at ending this game.
Flacco, who's had trouble with interceptions this year, has 6, but none today. Ball security, everything now as the Ravens with the coin flip win, and the first possession go to the run. Ray Rice, their 3rd-year runner, straight at the Bills. The Bills with the worst run defense in the NFL entering the game, but they've made some stops today.
They have made some stops, but you know, it's been baffling to me, and we've talked about it quite extensively, how Baltimore has not, as we see Marcus Stroud, the big defensive tackle coming off the field, but Baltimore has been throwing all day, not really attacking this worst-ranked run defense in the NFL.
Here's a throw right now, slap down. 3rd down, and a long 6.
And Don, as you know, every time I've tried to develop that theme, you need to run the football against the Buffalo Bills. They make a play in the passing game right here. That's a big call up in the air from Dwan Edwards, putting Baltimore in a 3rd and 5 situation. Big conversion here for Baltimore.
Dwan Edwards, a 5-year Raven before going to Buffalo. Flacco under pressure. They get him. They felt they do get him. Almost broke away, but now the Ravens have to punt. And the Bills could get relatively good field position. One thing about the Bills, they're winless, but everybody around that organization will tell you nobody practices harder, nobody plays harder. But as their linebacker Chris Kelsey said, 90% of the big plays against us aren't what they did, it's what we didn't do them. Missed assignments, wrong coverage.
Well, Kelsey was the one that finished off that sack right there on Joe Flacco. And boy, this is good timing for that. Buffalo, one of the worst teams as far as quarterback pressure in the league. They come up with a big timely sack there.
They had only 6 sacks in the previous 5 games, did the Bills. Look at this, the first 300-yard passer in 60 games
for the Buffalo Bills.
Bills haven't had a losing season since 04 when they were 9-7.
Well, you can look at all the numbers
Winning
you want.
season.
There's only one thing that Ryan Fitzpatrick is concerned about. That's this right here, a big W. That's what he wants.
These Ravens are opportunistic on defense. Bills have turned it over 3 times today, twice on interceptions. Fitzpatrick, he fits it in somehow. Very nearly another pick, though. I mean, you talk about a small window, Steve, and you played in the league 17 years as a quarterback. To fit it in, that's about as tight as there is.
Well, this is one of the things that Chan Gailey loves about Ryan Fitzpatrick. He feels like a lot of quarterbacks won't have the guts to stick that ball in there. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he gets back there on time, makes the decision. He will stick it in there in a tight window, and he's done it repeatedly today.
Yeah, Gailey said he's a gunslinger, and that's what we need. 1st and 10. Overshoots, almost picked. Looking at Roscoe Parrish, who's been a playmaker again today, but coming in high to the much shorter Parrish.
Well, if we would have taken a survey, Don, how many people do you think would have predicted this? Exactly twice their average against the Baltimore Ravens defense.
Ryan Fitzpatrick hit 28 of 42 for 370 yards. Bills tied the game with a 50-yard field goal, looking to get in that range again. Check down underneath. Ravens all over it, and a big 3rd down comes up now.
Ball came out.
The Ravens have the ball. The good teams find a way. The bad teams, you know the rest.
And who comes up with the ball? Ray Lewis. My question is, was forward progress stopped before the fumble?
Ruling on the field, the ball was taken away from the receiver. Baltimore's ball. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Buffalo taking his helmet off during the play and throwing it to the ground. 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Now the question is, was forward progress? There was not a whistle blown. The play was allowed to continue.
Jeez.
And Ray Lewis rips it out of there. Now, in my opinion, forward progress was stopped. I don't know whether that's going to be reviewed.
We hear a whistle.
No whistle. And then the unsportsmanlike conduct. Baltimore's already in field goal range. That's just a bad break for the Buffalo Bills.
Now the Ravens will go conservative, run the ball, get it in field goal range. They're really already in field goal range. It's a 43-yarder from where they are right now. And Cundiff with a big leg. His career long is 56. So the Bills play as hard as you can play week after week, but make mistakes that'll kill a team week after week. And they've yet to win a game this year.
Well, you know, Don, that was textbook by Ray Lewis and the Ravens. Their defenses are told to swarm the football, stand up the runner if you're the first to get there, and everybody else come in and try and strip that football. That's exactly what happened on that play.
Ray Rice dancing, looking for something. Not much there, but that's fine with the Ravens. They're in field goal range to win it.
And what was the penalty? Right here, you're going to see what the penalty was called on. A little frustration. The helmet comes off on the field. That's Jeff Hangartner, the center. You cannot remove your helmet on the field in the NFL.
And that move cost the Bills 15 yards and puts the Ravens in position to win it. Now the Bills jump. Were they drawn?
Well, everybody in purple saying that the Buffalo Bills jumped.
Doesn't matter, right?
That's right.
Defense, neutral zone deflection, number 95. Jumped into the neutral zone, causing the offense to false start.
So now what
5-yard
was
penalty.
previous to that play, a high percentage field goal attempt becomes an almost sure shot.
Kyle Williams, a guilty party there. A little over anxious. Billy
Number
Cundiff.
64 has reported as eligible, 64.
Billy Cundiff now feels pretty good about things here. This is a chip shot for him. Probably trying to get the ball positioned exactly where he prefers.
It'll be a handoff to McGahee up the middle between the hashes. McGahee between the hashes, and the ex-Bill takes it to the 20. Be about a 37-yard attempt, and I don't think John Harbaugh wants to wait any longer, does he?
No. It's fourth down. I think they said, let's get it on the left hash. That's where Billy Cundiff prefers to kick it from. And they've got it all set up now. No reason to even think about anything else.
Well, there's still no kicking team out there.
He's probably going to take a timeout. He just said, yeah. Doesn't want to be rushed against the clock. Take a timeout, get everybody set up.
First team timeout.
So we come down to a final field goal attempt by the Ravens to win the game.
Of course, you would expect Chan Gailey at this point to take a timeout right before the kick as well, to try and make Billy Cundiff think about it. What a football game, though.
It's been tremendous. Really has. It's been a highlight reel game. Fitzpatrick, 374 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. His team built a 24-10 lead. The Bills with 506 yards offense against the number 3 defense in the NFL.
And if you joined us late, well, you've missed a lot of fireworks. This game has gone back and forth all day. Neither one of these heavyweight fighters throwing in the towel. They kept coming back at each other all day, and it all comes down to this kick.
Well, this was a show-me day for the Bills. Would they slug it out with the tough Ravens? They did all game long, but now the Ravens can end it. This kick could decide it. It's good. It's over. The Ravens come back to win. Another heartbreak for Buffalo, who will now head to Kansas City and play just as hard as they did today. But the season slipping away. They gave it everything they had every second they were out there, but the Ravens, a good team, way down in the game, played poorly for a while. They come rallying back to win it. A great win for Baltimore. For Steve Berline, this is Don Criqui. Glad you could be with us in Baltimore. Doubleheader day coming up on CBS. Most of you will see the Patriots against the Chargers. Thanks for joining us from Baltimore.